I'm here. My name is Dany Lemberger. Say hi, Dany.
Hi, Dany.
Okay, and hello to you all. Thank you very much. Okay, so I wrote this book. I wrote the book in English. I wrote the book in a terrible language. Thanks to Ilse, we have it translated into Latvian, and we have it translated into French, but not printed yet. Being worked on. Now I will say a lot of things about this book and about the philosophy behind this book. I have one request of you. Do not accept anything I say. I am not an authority. Each and every one of you is an expert on life. And you know everything best about your own life. So I have my knowledge and my life experience, and some of what I know about life I put in the book. But you should learn this, or you can, if you want to, you can learn this and understand it and then try it out for yourselves. Like work with it and see if it works for you. So the only value of a philosophy is to the degree that it can improve our lives. A philosophy that is only theoretical and disconnected from life has no value. Okay? Good. Can I tell you a bit about myself? Okay, you can see I'm an old man. I was born in 52. So this means I'm 66 years old. And Tammy and I, we got married in Haifa, Israel in 79. Thank you, Tammy. Because 42 years she's suffering me. And after we got married in 79, we decided to travel around the world. And we arrived in San Francisco, California. And there we met a philosophy by a great philosopher, Ron Hubbard. And before this, ever since I remember myself as a teenager, I was asking myself questions about life. And when you think of life, you inevitably think of death. So I was asking myself, what am I doing here? As a young man, the age of Patrick's maybe, I started thinking about life. 13, 14. What am I doing here? What is the purpose of my life? How do I make my life better? And how can I help others make their lives better? Because you all know, or we all know, that we live in close association with other people. So it's impossible to be happy alone. If the person next to me is not happy, I'm not happy. So we want to improve our own lives and improve our environment. And 5 years I went to psychoanalysis. I read many philosophy books. Zen Buddhism,
studēju Zen budismu,
yoga,
jogu,
meditation,
nodarbojos ar meditāciju
and many, many more.
un vēl daudz citas praktikas.
And all these things gave me benefit or value,
Visas šīs lietas man deva kaut ko vērtīgu,
but they brought me up to a certain level of awareness.
bet tas man sniedz tikai noteiktu apzinātības līmeni.
But I felt that I was hitting a glass ceiling. Boing!
Bet es jūtu, ka es vienkārši atduros pret kaut kādiem grīstiem.
So I continued my search, Tammy and I together.
Ar sievu turpinājām savus meklējumus.
And in San Francisco in 1980, I met or I found the philosophy of Ron Hubbard.
Un 1980. gadā San Francisco es tā teikt atradu, pie manis atnāca Rona Hubbard filozofija.
And Tammy and I have been studying this philosophy and working with it since 1980.
Un kopš tā laika, kopš 80. gadiem, mēs ar sievu šo filozofiju esam pētījuši un praktizējuši.
Question? Lowry, question? You can ask me anything.
Jautājumi?
Okay, good. Okay. So we have been studying this philosophy for many years, since 1980. After living in the US many years, we came back to Israel, to Haifa, 1992.
92. gadā, pēc ilgiem gadiem pavadītiem Amerikā, mēs atgriezāmies
And-
Izrēlā.
I'm sorry. And we opened our own center. It's called Dror Center.
Mēs atvērām savu centru, ko sauc par Dror.
Uh, what is happening here? Okay, Dror. Dror Center. Dror in Hebrew means freedom.
Dror ebreju valodā nozīmē brīvība.
So the purpose is to help a person achieve freedom.
Centra mērķis palīdzēt cilvēkam sasniegt brīvību.
Freedom is not a state of I can do whatever I want to,
Brīvība nav tas, ka es varu darīt to, ko es gribu.
because I can do whatever I want to leads a person to criminality.
Jo tas darīt visatļautību noved pie, tā teikt, jau kriminālām pat sakām, jā.
Freedom is I decide to take responsibility for life and for people around me.
Brīvība nozīmē uzņemties atbildību par savu dzīvi un cilvēkiem man apkārt.
So freedom goes with power of choice.
Brīvība ir izvēles brīvības spēks.
Okay? Okay. Any questions so far?
Jautājumi?
Okay. Now, what are we all doing all the time?
Ko mēs visu laiku darām?
Any ideas? What are you doing right now?
Just
Listening.
listening, yeah.
Why did you come? Why did you come here?
Kādēļ
Because
ieradīsies?
I try to find some answers for my life, about my life.
Good. So, trying to find answers about life. Okay.
Atbilžu meklēšanas dzīves jautājumiem.
Maybe improvement in life. Maybe
Varbūt kaut ko dzīvē.
trying to improve life.
Yeah, for
Good. So we want to improve life. And what are we doing all the time in
Mēs
life?
visi vēlamies uzlabot dzīves. Un ko mēs visu laiku darām?
Okay, I will help you. I will give you a hint.
Es jums palīdzēšu.
Surviving, right?
Mēs visi izdzīvojam.
No?
Also, really.
Okay, why not? What do you think?
Diezgan sarežģīti tā pastāstīt.
Pagabal.
Hey, you speak Latvian, yeah.
Okay.
We have translated for you.
Nu, kā es mēģinu piepildīt savu dzīvi un
He tries to
radīt
fulfill
kaut
his
ko
life.
jaunu.
Excuse me?
He tries to fulfill his life and create something new.
Very good. Okay. So, we have the word survival. Survival is not on off or yes, no.
Izdzīvošana nav tāds jēdziens kā ieslēgts, izslēgts, jā, nē.
This is not survival. Okay. Survival has a scale.
Izdzīvošanai ir dažādi līmeņi.
Okay? The bottom of the scale, 0.
Nultais, ja pats pamata līmenis izdzīvošanai.
So what is 0 survival?
Kas ir šis līmenis?
Any guess?
People who living on the streets.
Good. So people living on the street are still living. They're here. Below that,
Cilvēki dzīvo uz ielām, bet viņi joprojām ir.
Jail?
jail, okay.
Cietums.
Dead.
Dead, okay, good. So we have death.
No, it's under zero level.
Kind of living.
Okay. Good. So at the bottom, 0. You say 0 in Latvian? 0?
Nulle.
Nulla. Okay, nulla is dead.
Nulle.
Nulla. Nulla. Okay, nulla. Dead. Finished. Okay, we have this. What are we all striving for?
Pēc kā mēs visi tiecamies?
What are we all trying to reach?
Ko mēs vēlamies sasniegt?
Try to get freedom.
Good. Try to get freedom.
Brīvību.
And in the scale of survival, what would be the maximum survival?
Un šajā skalā, kas būtu tas augstākais līmenis šajā izdzīvošanas skalā?
The maximum survival would be, can you see this?
Infinity.
Okay. You know what the symbol is? Mathematical symbol? Infinity.
Bezdalības simbols.
Infinity. So, what is the lady saying? Mama, what do you say?
Latviski. Spermatozīts, kas tiecās uz olšūnu.
Good. Very good. Thank you. So, we are striving to infinite survival. So we have scale here, and we have infinity here, and we have quality. Okay? And here we said we have nulla. Nulla like this.
Apakšā ir nāve.
Is this how you write
Un
nulla?
augšā ir bezdalība.
Is this how you write nulla?
Yes.
Okay. My Latvian is getting better every day. The guy who is a homeless living on the street is here 0.1 apatia.
Cilvēki, kas dzīvo uz ielas, ir 0,1 izdzīvošanas skalas punktā, kas ir apāta.
And here we have 40,
Un piedzīves 40 mums ir,
which we call serenity of beingness.
serenity of being, kas ir tāda mierīga piepildīta būšana.
Okay? Serenity of beingness would be like in Buddhism you have a state of nirvana.
Budismā tas saucās nirvānas stāvoklis.
Okay? So, serenity of being, we have a number. The number doesn't mean much.
Mums tā vienkārši ir cipars, bet tas skaits neko īpaši nenozīmē, vēl jāsaprast, ko nozīmē.
But just we give it a symbol. So 40 is serenity of beingness, is a state of being fully confident about life.
Tas ir stāvoklis, kad cilvēks ir pilnīgi pārliecināts un apmierināts ar dzīvi.
Okay. Now we all know that our body is going to die.
Mēs visi zinām, ka mūsu fiziskais ķermenis, viņam pienāks beigas.
Okay? I mean, this body is good for 80 years maybe.
Un šis ķermenis derīgs būs no apmēram 80 gadus varbūt,
Some bodies 90 years.
citam 90.
But the body is a machine, and every machine has a start, is a growing, and is getting old and kaput.
Ķermenis ir kā mašīna, kā iekārta. Un katra iekārta ir cikls, viņa tiek radīta, viņa darbojās un tad viņa nomirst.
Okay?
Salust.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay, maybe it's good. Okay, maybe it's good. So, our purpose in life is to survive, to live better, and to move up towards a higher state.
Mūsu dzīves mērķis ir izdzīvot, dzīvot labāk un virzīties uz tā augstā.
Okay, now, what are we doing all the time?
Tātad atkal, kur mēs visu laiku darām?
That's easy. Anybody idea?
Kāds idejas?
What are we doing all the time?
Educate.
Educate, learning, good, okay.
Mēs mācāmies.
That's good. What else are you doing all the time?
Ko mēs visu laiku darām?
Pildu pienākums. Attīstamies.
We do our duties, we develop ourselves.
Okay, we make decisions.
Mēs pieņemam lēmumus.
Piedzīvojam, tā kā izdzīvot.
And we have to make decisions.
Mums visu laiku ir jāpieņem lēmumi.
Right? Davis, you decided to come here today.
Yeah.
You made a decision.
Yeah, sure.
Good. Good decision. So we make decisions all the time. To make a decision, what must we have?
Kas mums ir nepieciešams tam, lai mēs pieņemtu lēmumu? Varianti?
Good friend who invite.
That's good.
Labs draugs, kas uzaicina uz pašiem pasākumiem.
Now, the friend who invite you, what does he give you so that you can make a decision?
Tas draugs, kas uzaicināja, ko viņš tev iedeva, lai tu pieņemtu lēmumu?
Because I appreciate him.
Ka tas būs noderīgi. Es vienkārši paskatījos un piedāvāju, un es saprotu, ka tas man
There was
noderīgi.
an offer, and he saw it, and he knew it would be useful.
Good.
Lai
Okay.
pieņemtu lēmumu, ir vajadzīga informācija.
To make a decision, you need information.
Very good. Patrick, what do you say?
We are here to support.
Good, thank you. Okay, so information.
Tātad informācija.
Good. So, throughout life, all the time, we learn, like David says, and we gain information.
Dzīves laikā mēs nepārtraukti mācāmies un uzsūtam informāciju.
Is that correct?
Vai
We
tā?
go to school, we read books, we watch television, we talk to friends.
Ejam uz skolu, mācāmies, skatāmies mēdījus, lasām. Tā informācija nāk no dažādām pusēm un avotiem.
And sometimes Friday evening, we don't go to pub, we go to a lecture.
Dažreiz piekdienas vakarā mēs neejam uz baru, bet gan uz lekciju.
Okay, so we gather information all the time.
Visu laiku mēs izskatām informāciju.
And what do we do with all this information?
Ko mēs ar tā informāciju iesākam?
We share.
We share with others.
We filter it, we share,
Okay.
Analizējam.
We have to,
analyze it.
okay, we have to keep it somewhere.
Mums viņu kaut kur taču ir jāsaglabā, jātur, jāglabā.
Not everything.
Not everything, we have a filter. Okay, good. So we have a huge storage place, like a huge computer memory, and we keep all our information,
Mums ir milzīga, tā teikt, failu krātuve, kur mēs visu to informāciju glabājam.
right? And then when we need to make a decision, we take this information and we analyze and we make a decision with this information.
Some kind of information we should delete from our life.
Un tad, kad mums ir nepieciešams pieņemt lēmumu, mēs
Good.
atrodam nepieciešamo informāciju no savas krātuves un bāzējoties uz to informāciju pieņemam lēmumu.
You translated what our friend
Jā,
said.
ā,
Alex, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's
Dažas fails darāt
the
no
breaks for
turienes
our
izdzēst.
progress sometimes.
Good, good,
Tas
good.
traucē mums.
Alex, I think you can continue.
No.
No, because you're saying,
He knows what he told.
you're saying what I'm going to say. Okay, good. Thank you, Alex. You're reminding me what to say.
No, I'm reading a lot.
You're reading along. That's good. Good. Okay.
To find some answers.
Okay. So let's do a little exercise, okay?
Nu tad maziņš vingrinājums.
Without standing up. This one we can
Pēc
sit down.
piecelšanās kājās, paliek.
Okay, good. Shut your eyes, please. Everybody shut your eyes.
Aizveriet acis.
Okay, everybody shut your eyes. Thank you. Think of a cat,
Domājiet par kaķi.
okay? Are we all thinking of a cat?
Vai visi domājam par kaķi?
Good. Now, let the cat walk around the room.
Ļaujiet kaķim pastaigāt pa istabu.
Okay. Now, put wings on the cat.
Tagad pievienojiet kaķim spārnus
And now the cat, let it fly out the room through the window.
un ļaujiet kaķim izlidot no istabas caur logu.
Thank you very much. You can open your eyes.
Paldies, varat atvērt acis.
Okay? That was easy, right?
Tas taču bija vienkārši.
Now, when I asked you to think of a cat, what happened?
Kad es jums palūdzu domāt par kaķi, kas
Ernest? Hi, Ernest.
Ernesto.
Ernesto, nice, good. Spanish, huh? Ernesto. Italian, better. Okay, Ernesto. So when I asked you to think of a cat, what happened?
Kas notika, kad es jums liku domāt par kaķi?
I decided to see a cat, and then I see the cat.
So you
Es
see a
tiku
cat.
lēmu ieraudzīt kaķi un es to ieraudzīju.
So everybody saw a cat?
Vai visi redzēja kaķi?
Okay.
Nē.
No? So what happened when you thought of a cat?
Man cits jau domas aizklāju to visu, un es nebiju spējīgi domāt par kaķi.
Other
Kaķi
thoughts
vienkārši
came.
notiek.
Took over.
Other thoughts took over. So you have a lot of things going on there somewhere.
And that was somewhere under it.
But I think most of us, when I said think of a cat, we saw a cat, right?
Lielākajai daļai bija tā, kad jūs ieraudzījāt to kaķi, vai ne?
And the cat that you saw is a cat that you know.
Un visdrīzāk tas kaķis, ko jūs ieraudzījāt, ir kaķis.
You saw
kuru
this
jūs
cat
zināt.
before.
Yes,
You saw this cat, okay. And then you could put wings on the cat.
yes.
Okay, good. Have you ever seen a cat with wings?
Maybe in my imagination.
Imagination, very good,
Vai
imagination,
kādreiz
good.
redzējuši dzīvē kaķi ar spārniem?
So we can imagine things.
Yes.
Protams, nē, tas viss ir iztēlā.
And with imagination, cats can fly through the wall outside. So what we see is that when we think of something, we get a picture.
Fakts ir tāds, ka, kad mēs domājam, mums parādās bilde, mums parādās attēls, kaut kas vizuāls.
And this picture, where does it come from?
Un no kurienes šī bilde rodās?
It's a picture.
Profile.
Excuse me? Profile, okay, but where?
From file.
From a file, from file, exactly. So we saw a cat before, and now we think of a cat, we bring up a picture from somewhere.
Mēs iepriekš dzīvē, protams, esam redzējuši kaķi. Un tagad, kad mums palūdz par viņu domāt, mēs atceramies vizuāli, mēs atceramies kaķi.
But
So-
first time I saw the wings on my cat.
Excuse me?
First time I saw the wings.
Yeah, first time you see wings with a cat, or a cat with wings. Okay, good. So today is 23 November 2018, right? And we are here. I am a terrible, terrible painter, so the drawings are bad.
Šodien mēs visi esam šeit, bet es atvainojos, es esmu ļoti briesmīgs mākslinieks, un man zīmējumi ir galīgi.
Okay, so
tādas.
forgive me for the bad pictures. So now we say think of a cat, and we have somewhere a file, and we pull a picture. Is this how a cat looks?
Oh.
Terrible cat, okay.
Tātad,
It looks like a rat.
kad mēs iedomājamies par kaķi,
Okay.
mūsu visas informācijas krātuvē, mēs atrodam kaķi un šo bildīti izceļam.
So when we try to think of when we think of a cat, we pull out a picture of a cat.
Kad mēs par kaķi iedomājamies, mēs izceļam kaķu bildi.
Okay, and we have the ability because we have imagination.
Mums ir spēja, mums ir iztēle.
When I say put wings on the cat, we have somewhere on file another picture of wings. How do wings look?
Un tad, kad es teicu pievienot kaķim spārnus, vēl kādā citā mūsu informācijas glabātuvē,
And with our imagination, we put wings on the cat, and
un ar mūsu iztēles palīdzību mēs tos abus savienojam.
excuse me, Kaspars?
It's good.
Okay. Now now this leads us into many, many questions.
Un par šo tagad rodās daudz dažādu.
And we are only here going to be another 3 hours.
Oh.
Mēs šeit būsim tikai vēl 3 stundas.
Okay, 5 hours.
Nē, mēs kāpēc vēl tikai 5.
And still in 5 hours I will talk until midnight
Un nekas es runāšu tāpat līdz pusnaktī,
because they pay me by the hour.
jo viņi man maksā par stundām.
And even in 5 hours I cannot cover all the information and answer all the questions about this.
Un, protams, 5 stundās nav iespējams izstāstīt visu informāciju un atbildēt uz visiem jautājumiem par šo tēmu.
There are some more answers in the book,
Vēl papildu atbildes ir grāmatā.
but this will cost you money.
To var iegādāties.
Okay. So we have here this guy. Okay. Each and every one of us. And we have here the files of pictures.
Tātad esam mēs un ir mūsu failu krātuve.
Now, question number 1.
Pirmais jautājums.
When we had our eyes shut and I said, think of a cat.
Kad mums bija aizvērtas acis un es palūdzu domāt par kaķi.
And then we get a picture of a cat.
Un tad, kad mums parādās kaķa attēls.
And we see a cat. And we see a cat.
Un mēs to kaķi redzam,
But our eyes are shut
bet mūsu acis ir aizvērtas.
and there is no cat in the room.
Un nekāda kaķa istabā nav.
So who is looking at the cat?
Kas skatās uz kaķi?
Zemapziņa.
Iztēle.
Subconscious. Imagination.
Iedomas arī, ne?
Who is looking? Who is looking at the cat?
Kas ir tas, kas skatās uz kaķi?
Brain.
Brain.
Okay, so I have here something, and this thing is the brain.
Tās mums ir smadzenes.
Okay, so brain is part of the body, right?
Smadzenes ir īsti ķermeņa daļa.
This is my hand.
Šī ir mana roka.
Does everybody have a hand?
Vai visiem ir roka?
Okay, you all have a hand. Very good. And we all have a body.
Mums visiem ir ķermenis.
Who does this body belong to?
Kam pieder šis ķermenis?
Gatis, your body. Who does it belong to?
Man.
Good, your body. Simone, you have a body?
Yeah.
Good. Who does your body belong to?
Mommy.
No helping, please. Simone, who does your body belong to?
Kam pieder tavs ķermenis?
My mom. Me.
Kam?
My mom and me.
To me and my mom.
To you. Okay, and your mom. Okay, and your mother's body. Who does it belong to?
Un tavs mammas ķermenis. Kam pieder tas?
To her mother, to grandma. Okay,
Konkrētam intelektam.
okay.
To a certain intellect.
A certain intellect, okay. So there is something there
Tātad ir kaut kas,
that is the owner of the body,
kam pieder šis ķermenis.
and also this something there, let's put it in red, is the guy that is looking at the pictures.
Un tas kaut kas ir arī tas, kas skatās uz šiem attēliem.
Nu, ķermenis ir tikai kapsula laicīgā.
Body is just a time capsule.
Okay. So who does the body belong to?
Kam šis ķermenis pieder?
Visu man.
To the universe.
Okay. Okay.
Dvēselē.
Okay.
To the soul.
Excuse me?
The body belongs to the soul.
Good. Good. Who said soul?
They just use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, somebody said soul. Hi! Why are you so far? There's a chair here. Okay, you're comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you can hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Agneta. Thank you. Good. So we have something here that we call the soul
Tātad ir kaut kas, ko mēs saucam par dvēseli vai garu.
or the spirit, or we can call it life energy.
Mēs to varam arī saukt par dzīves enerģiju.
In French, they have a nice word, élan vital. Okay. We also call it the awareness of awareness unit.
Mēs to saucam arī par apzināšanos kā tādu.
We know, we people, we know.
Mēs visi zinām.
Okay, you know that this is a book.
Mēs zinām, ka tā ir grāmata.
You know that this is a table.
Tas ir galds.
You know that you think.
Jūs zināt, ka jūs domājat.
And you know that you know.
Un jūs zināt, ka jūs zināt.
It seems to us that this plant is not aware that it is a plant.
Mums varētu šķist, ka šim te augam nav apziņas, ka viņš ir augs.
Or this glass, does it have awareness of being a glass?
Vai krūzē nav apziņas, ka tā ir krūze?
We think not.
Mēs domājam, ka nav.
I think yes.
Okay, possible, we don't know. But
Mēs
what
domājam.
we know is that we are in communication,
Mēs zinām, ka mēs viens ar otru komunicējam.
we have imagination,
Mums ir iztēle.
we can make a glass,
Mēs varam izveidot.
and we make a table.
Un galds.
Excuse me? Okay, so we can make a glass, we can make a table, we can even write a book.
Mēs pat varam sarakstīt grāmatu.
But this glass cannot make man.
Bet šī krūzīte nevar izveidot cilvēku.
Okay, what we see. Maybe I'm
Tas, ko
wrong.
mēs redzam.
Maybe you have a magic glass at home that can make people.
Varbūt tāda ir maģiskā krūzīte, kas spēj daudz ko citu.
Now, when we say spirit,
Kad mēs sakam gars,
in many religions, they say man's spirit.
Daudzās reliģijās ir jēdziens cilvēka gars.
Man's spirit. Or they say his or her
Viņa vai viņas gars.
soul.
Vai
Right?
viņa vai viņas dvēsele.
Now, this, of course, is a big mistake.
Šī ir kļūda.
This is a big mistake. Why?
Kāpēc?
Because when I say man's spirit,
Jo tad, kad es saku cilvēka,
I'm saying that there is something that is the owner of the spirit.
tad es saku, ka ir kaut kas, kam šis gars pieder.
So who is this something?
Un kas ir šis kaut kas?
So the spirit is the owner of the body,
Tātad gars ir ķermeņa.
and the spirit is the owner of the file, the memories,
Tāpat garam pieder arī atmiņas un visi šie failiņi.
so I don't have a spirit. I am a spirit.
Man nav gara. Es pats esmu gars.
Okay? Questions, comments?
Jautājumi, komentāri, neskaidrības, lūdzu.
No? No question? No. Excuse me? Ernesto, what do you say?
I think it's really good.
Oh, you think it's okay? Keep going. Okay, now is the time for money, please. Okay, now collection. Okay, so we are a spirit, we are the owner of the body, and we have memories. Okay?
Tātad mēs esam gars, mums pieder mūsu ķermenis, un mums pieder visi tie faili, visas atmiņas.
Okay, and our goal in life is to improve our survival.
Un mūsu dzīves mērķis ir uzlabot mūsu stāvokli.
And to improve survival, we have to make decisions all the time.
Un, lai to izdarītu, mums visu laiku ir jāpieņem lēmumi.
And for decisions, we use information.
Un lēmumu pieņemšanai mēs izmantojam informāciju.
And the information we have is everything we ever studied,
Un tā informācija ir viss, ko mēs jebkad esam apguvuši,
everything we received from the environment,
viss, ko esam uztvēruši no apkārtējas vides.
and we analyze the data to
Mēs
make
to visu
decisions.
analizējam, lai pieņemtu lēmumus.
Okay. But Alex made a very important point.
Te bija viena ļoti svarīga doma.
And he said before that some of the pictures we do not want in the file.
Tika minēts, ka dažas no tām bildēm mēs savos failos nevēlamies.
Excuse me?
What I doesn't like it, I just block.
You do what?
Delete.
Delete.
Delete or away, so I just focus on the things what I like it.
Good.
But only wanna throw away that the bad experience. Only
Mēs vēlamies atbrīvoties no nepatīkamajām un sliktajām
the
pieredzēm.
bad memories.
And it's quite difficult.
It's quite difficult. Wow, thank you so much.
But
I think this book, Alex wrote the book. Okay, very
He
good.
is guy who made the backpack with bike.
So,
In the future, I will make.
you will write the book, okay. Okay, this thing here is symbol for spirit.
Šis simbols ir gara simbols.
It's just a symbol. It's the Greek letter theta,
Tas ir grieķu alfabēta burts teksta.
and it means spirit. That's all.
Tas nozīmē gars.
Just a symbol. Okay, now,
Bet tas ir vienkārši apzīmējums.
now something very interesting. This line symbolizes time.
Un tad kaut kas interesants. Šī līnija simbolizē dzīvi,
Okay.
simbolizē laiku.
And as we all know, time is just moving. We have no control over time.
Laiks iet uz
And we
priekšu,
can
mums par to nav kontroles.
I'm sorry. We can measure time.
Mēs laiku varam izmērīt,
We cannot control it.
bet mēs to nespējam kontrolēt.
And it just keeps moving, right?
Un tas vienkārši turpina iet.
So progress of time we measure on time track. Oops, what did I do?
Tātad šī
Oh, yeah,
līnija
this is-
saucās laika līnija, un mēs tur
Okay.
ar šīs palīdzību mēs vienkārši
Tra-
mēram atzīmējam laikā konkrētas.
So it's just a line and time is moving on. Now, throughout life, we gather information.
Dzīves laikā mēs uzkrājam informāciju.
Okay? And it's like you go to cinema and they have a reel, like a movie reel. Okay?
Tas ir apmēram kā iet uz kino, noskatīties filmu, izlasīt kādu brošūru.
And a film, a movie film, is ingenious, very clever,
Un films ir ļoti gudrs.
because you can see, there is vision,
Tu vari redzēt vizuālo.
and the first films were only visual,
Pirmās filmas bija tikai vizuāls.
and then some genius came and put audio. You can hear the film.
Un
Wow!
tad bija kāds ģēnijs, kas pievienoja bildai skaņu. Un tagad bilde ir ar skaņu.
So what we're now doing here is we're making a film with video and audio.
Tagad
Okay?
mēs arī veidojam filmu gan ar vizuālo, gan ar audiālo.
But our memory has many, many more perceptions.
Bet mūsu atmiņai ir vēl daudz vairāk uztvaru dažādu.
Because we can remember in our memory from the pictures that it was cold
Mēs spējam atcerēties to, ka bija
or that it
augsts
was warm.
vai silts.
We can remember smell.
Varam atcerēties
You can
smaržas.
think of something, your breakfast this morning, and
Mēs
you had
iedomājamies
coffee.
Šīs dienas brokastīm vai kafiju.
And when you drink coffee, you can remember the smell of the coffee. Okay? And excitement, emotion.
Mēs varam atcerēties emocijas, aizgājumu.
Okay? Like when you hug your son, you say, wow. You can remember the excitement. You can remember the emotion. When you eat something, you can remember the taste.
Kad mēs kaut kādam, mēs, protams,
Okay.
varam atcerēties garšu.
So our pictures have 50 perceptions.
Mūsu bildēm ir aptuveni 50 dažādu uztvaru.
And Walt Disney only has 2 perceptions.
Un Waltam Disneyam ir tikai divas.
Okay.
And
Now-
it use our imagination.
Excuse me?
The Walt use are like the human, so the human, nu,
No.
Yeah.
Say it.
tātad Valts izmanto cilvēku, lai pats cilvēks izmanto savu imagination, kas ir
Walt
iztēle.
Disney uses human for the human to use their imagination.
Exactly. So this guy here, who we call spirit,
Šī
Can-
būtne, ko mēs saucam par garu,
can take this picture and can take this picture and make a new combination.
spēj savienot dažādus attēlus un izveidot kaut ko jaunu.
Because we always develop something new.
Jo mēs visu laiku veidojam kaut ko jaunu.
Okay? And you learn something, and then your friend talks about something, and you open a book, you say, wow, this idea, this, whoa. I bring it all together and make something new.
Savienojot jau esošos failus ar jaunu informāciju, kas ienāk no dažādām vietām, rodās dažādas idejas, rodās dažādas domas.
I mean, we now have these things from, is this Apple? It's not Apple. Huawei, better. Okay, we now have this thing.
Mums tagad ir šāds teiks.
And I'm an old man. I mean, I remember when I was a boy, we still had telephone.
Kad es biju mazs puika, mums bija griežamie telefoni, kad bija
And
cik
there is so much information that goes into this 300 gram of plastic, metal, silicone, I don't know what's here even, glass. But how much information goes in here?
Šajā mazajā ierīcē tiek tagad ietilpināti mežonīgi daudz.
So whoever made it had fantastic imagination.
Tiem, kas to izveidoja, bija fantastiski iztēli.
And the people with great imagination, like Steve Jobs, these guys will say, well, this guy's a genius, right?
Viņi visi bija ģēniji.
Because he's getting all this information. Elon Musk, he makes the Tesla car. Or, and he takes so much information and creates something new.
Viņš apkopo ļoti daudz informācijas un izveido no tā visu kaut ko jaunu.
But it's always information that he got from somewhere and put it together with his imagination to create something new. Okay?
Tāda informācija, ko viņš iegūta no kaut kurienes un caur garu saliekot kopā radīja kaut ko jaunu.
So this is perfect, right?
Nu, šis izskatās perfekti, ne?
This is perfect. Like a fantastic computer, right?
Burvīgs dators.
But is life perfect?
Bet vai dzīve ir perfekta?
Sometimes.
What do you say?
Sometimes.
Sometimes life is perfect. And sometimes...
Soon, coming soon.
Come, oh, it's on the way. Okay.
Sometimes.
Welcome to perfection. So, do we all agree life is not perfect?
Kā visi uzskatām, ka dzīve nav perfekta.
I think Alex agrees.
On the way to
I
perfect.
told.
Laura, what do you say?
On the way to perfect.
On the way to perfect. Well, that's why you're here.
At least perfect drover is here in the front.
Okay. So this model is perfect, right?
Šis modelis ir ideāls. Kāpēc?
But we know that life is not perfect.
Ja mēs zinām, ka dzīve nav ideāla.
So what is making life not so good?
Kas dzīvi padara netik labi, kā mēs vēlētos?
Money.
Excuse me?
Money.
Not money.
Why money? What is the problem with money?
Mistakes.
Mistakes.
Bad luck, mistakes.
Bad luck.
Mistakes.
Decisions.
Decisions.
Bad
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 decisions.
habits.
Okay, so it's somewhere behind. Okay, so we say, well, bad luck, bad decisions, okay?
Bad habits.
Bad habits. So, bad,
Slikti lēmumi, slikti ieradumi.
good, bad
kļūdas,
habits.
neveiksmes.
I like this word bad habits. Now, bad habits or bad decisions.
Bet nav tāds slikts. Viss ir labs.
There's no
No,
bad.
no.
Everything is good.
Everything is good.
Runāt, Aleks.
Okay. Okay, so end of lecture, you are free. Everything is good?
Arī sliktā pieredze ir ļoti
Useful
vajadzīga.
maybe.
Bad experience is also very useful.
Okay, this I agree, but it's still bad.
Jā, bet tā tomēr ir slikta pieredze. Nu, sāpīga vai nepatīkama.
But otherwise you
Bet
don't
tas
know.
nāk par
Bad.
labu man.
But it benefits me.
Yeah, why does it benefit you?
Kādēļ? Kādēļ nāk par labu?
Lai viņi augtu.
To grow.
Okay, okay,
Arī.
okay,
Lai nepieļautu.
okay.
Let's make the same mistakes again.
Okay, good. So, when we drive our car down the street,
Teiksim, kad braucam ar mašīnu.
I don't have green here, or maybe I have green. Okay, and we have in front of green, and then we drive down the street and we reach the intersection, crossroad, and we have red
Mums ir
light.
zaļā gaisma, tad mēs piebraucam pie krustojuma, un tur ir pēkšņi sarkanā.
What do we do?
Ko mēs darām?
Close eyes.
Good. Bad decision. Good for bad decision. But like the lady says, we need experience. So this is good for experience. So we see a red light, what do? We stop. Patrick Stone, he teaches you.
Mēs
see?
apstājamies pie sarkanās
Good,
gaismas.
Patrick. One person here is smart. Okay, so we stop. Why do we stop?
Kādēļ mēs apstājamies?
Okay. So here in our file of memory information, we learned how to drive. And when we were small, mother took us and, red light, stop. So we have a lot of information here that says stop in red light.
Tātad, kad mēs mācāmies braukt, vai arī bērnībā, kad mamma mums apstādināja pie sarkanās gaismas, teica stāvēt, mums ir šī informācija, kas nozīmē sarkanā gaisma, apstājamies.
Yesterday we were walking in the street with with Agneta, and we watched, there was no car coming, and we crossed the street in red light. And Agneta said, no children, we can walk in red light.
Yeah, it's a good decision.
Yeah.
I always think like that.
Okay,
It doesn't waste the time.
exactly. So when we have the kids with us, we stand at the red light.
Kad bērni mums ir līdzi, mēs parasti tomēr stāvam pie sarkanās gaismas, nevis skrienam pāri ielai, pat ja nav mašīna.
I'm telling secrets out from the bedroom. But when no children, we can cross the street in red
Bet,
light.
kad bērni nav, tad, protams,
Why are we doing this?
šķērsot
Why are we doing
ielu.
this?
Kāpēc mēs tā darām?
Because we want our children in their memory, on their time track, to know that red light is stop.
Jo mēs gribam, lai mūsu bērni zinātu, ka sarkanā gaisma nozīmē apstāties.
So we learn that red light is stop, and we have this memory that we are aware of, that we know.
Mēs zinām, ka sarkanā gaisma nozīmē apstāties, un mēs to apzināmies, un tā ir mūsu atmiņa.
But when, like Alex said, we close our eyes and we drink a lot of vodka and say,
Because I don't like frames.
you don't like frames, good, okay, you and I are,
But that can do even without vodka.
you can just go. Okay.
There and go.
So when we are brave and we don't drink vodka or something else and we close out and we go through the intersection in red light, what happens?
Tad, kad mēs aizveram acis un daram to pašu, pie krustojuma nonākam pie sarkanās gaismas, ko mēs darām.
Un braucam
Probably you crash.
Okay, good. So a few options.
Try to not crash.
Option number one, nothing happens, everything okay. 50, yeah, 30. So option number one, nothing happens, we just cross the light.
Nu,
Option
pirmais variants ir tāds, kad nekas nenotiek, mēs vienkārši pabraucam.
Option number two is crash.
Otrais variants ir avārija.
Option number three,
Police.
Trešais variants
police. Okay,
- policija.
now when the police catches us, what do they do to us?
Try to teach us again.
Try to teach
Un tad,
us.
kad policija mūs noķer, ko viņi dara,
Now, how do they teach you?
viņi cenšas mums atkal iemācīt.
Payment.
Yes, yes,
Somebody said money. Excuse me?
take it.
Ticket, money.
Punishment.
If we do too many times, we go to jail, maybe.
No, just
Policija mūs
lose
māca.
our driver's license.
Okay, take our driver license. So, when we make bad decision,
Kad pieņemam sliktu lēmumu,
You suffer.
you suffer. Who said suffer?
mēs ciešam.
Davis, good student. Suffer. Or we have word, you know this word, punishment.
Mēs tiekam sodīti.
Okay? We get punishment. Or we suffer. And these moments of suffering or punishment, like Alex said before, we want to forget.
Un šos te sāpju un ciešanu un soda brīžus mēs viņus vēlamies aizmirst.
So now we see that we have actually two files of memories.
Tātad mēs redzam, ka mums ir divas atmiņu krātuves.
Okay. And we have what we use a name for it here. All these memories that I use, that I'm aware of.
Visas atmiņas, ko es izmantoju un kuras es apzināti izmantoju,
In English, the aware mind.
mums ir analītiskajā prātā.
Okay, because I'm aware of what is here,
Jo es apzinos un saprotu,
and
kas
I
tur ir.
okay, and I can use this information to make decisions.
Un es tā informāciju varu izmantot, lai pieņemtu lēmumus.
But life is not perfect,
Bet tā kā dzīve nav ideāla,
and we have this other storage of memories,
mums ir arī cita atmiņu krātuve,
and this we call reactive mind.
ko mēs saucam par reaktīvo prātu.
Okay? Too much here, I will flip chart. Any questions, any comments?
Kādi
So
jautājumi,
reactive
komentāri?
mind is it's like subconscious.
Similar. Okay. So here is our body, here is the spirit, here is time, this is now, okay, and this is a long time ago, and we have all our memories here,
Šeit ir visas mūsu atmiņas,
okay, and these are all the memories that I can reach,
un šīs ir visas atmiņas, ko es kā gars
okay,
spēju sasniegt.
and the bad experience,
Un visas negatīvā pieredze,
which I don't like,
kas man nepatīk,
the bad experience, I try to forget, I try not to know about.
es cenšos to aizmirst un cenšos nezināt par to. Tā vispār notiek.
So this storage we call aware mind,
Tātad visas apzinātās atmiņas mēs saucam par analītisku
Okay.
prātu. Analītiskais prāts ir to atmiņu prātu.
I know I'm repeating, but I want to make it clear and have a nice
Es
clean.
zinu, ka es atkārtoju,
picture.
es vienkārši gribu, lai šis ir skaidrs.
And this we call reactive mind,
Un visas nepatīkamās pieredzes tiek glabātas reaktīvajā prātā.
or reactivia, reactive mind. Why do we call it reactive mind?
Kāpēc mēs to saucam par reaktīvo prātu?
Now, the psychologists call this the subconscious.
Psihologi to sauc par zemapziņu.
So, a great genius, the big founder of psychology, Sigmund Freud, okay? And-
Tas Freids,
And he could see that every person some information, some memories he's like pushing under the table.
Viņš noskaidroja to, ka daži sapni viņas tiek apspiestas un cilvēki cenšas to aizmirst.
So I'm making an effort. I'm working hard, making an effort not to remember.
Cilvēki ļoti cenšas to neatcerēties.
Okay. But we find there is a very interesting mechanism of how the mind works.
Bet ir ļoti interesants mehānisms, kā prāts strādā.
When I see now, in present time, now is PT, present time.
Kad es šajā brīdī redzu,
And this is PT, present time. When I see now something that is similar to an experience, a bad experience from the past, bad experiences, we have a Greek word for it.
tātad šīs te visas pieredzes vienā vārdā, sanāk grieķu vārdā, var sākt ar traumām.
Okay, I never said it, but you translated. Good. Okay, so we have the word trauma. You have trauma, you say the word trauma in Latvian.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. In all the languages that I know, we have the same word trauma.
Visās valodās, kādas es zinu,
It-
apzīmējums tam visam ir trauma.
I don't know Chinese, maybe the Chinese don't say trauma.
No, they don't.
They don't, okay. They never suffer, they're always happy.
Ķīniešiem nav vārds trauma, viņi ir laimīgi.
But in English they say trauma, en français traumatisme, in German trauma, in Latvian trauma. In Hebrew we say trauma. So in all the languages we have the word trauma. Trauma. Now, what does trauma mean?
Ko šis vārds nozīmē?
What is it in Greek? It's a Greek word. Can you look in the dictionary? You have dictionary here?
No, I'm learning Chinese for 4 years, so I know. I'm just trying to find it.
Okay, so if you look in your if you look in your dictionary, Google in Greek trauma, it's a
Paskatāmies grieķu tulkojumu,
it's a deep wound
tas nozīmē dziļš ievainojums,
that has effect on us for many years, for a long
kurš
time.
mūs ietekmē vēl daudzus gadus.
So we use trauma to mean a bad experience
Mēs
A bad
izmantojam vārdu
experience.
trauma, lai aprakstītu gan sliktu pieredzi,
that affects us for a long, long time.
Pieredzes, kas mūs negatīvi ietekmē vēl nākamos gadus.
Now, the aware mind is information I control.
Tātad analītiskajā prātā ir informācija, ko es kontrolēju.
So when I am at work and I want to make a decision, I can take information, analyze the information, and see what is happening.
Tad esmu darbā un man vajag pieņemt lēmumu, es paņemu informāciju, viņu analizēju un pieņemu šo lēmumu.
And I make a decision to improve my survival,
Un es pieņemu šo lēmumu, lai uzlabotu stāvokli, uzlabotu manu izdzīvošanu.
to go up the scale.
Lai skalā paceltos uz augšu.
Okay. But sometimes things happen to me that I do not control.
Tomēr dažreiz ar mani notiek lietas, kuras es nekontrolēju.
Like I'm afraid.
Man ir bail,
I'm angry. Ah!
es esmu dusmīgs,
Or I feel sad.
vai man ir ļoti skumji.
Now, why is this happening to me?
Kāpēc tas ar mani notiek?
And I don't know why this is happening to me.
Un es nezinu, kāpēc tas ar mani notiek.
Because around me, everything is okay.
Jo man apkārt viss kā ir ok, viss
But-
kā ir labi.
But I have a reaction, that's why we call it reactive mind, that I'm not aware of.
Tas ir tāpēc, kad manī ir reakcija, rodās reakcija uz kaut ko, kas ir manā reaktīvajā prātā. Tāpēc arī to saucam par reaktīvo prātu. Viņš reaģē.
And my survival is going down, and I'm working hard to push back up,
Un es šajā skalā noslīdu uz leju un es ļoti cenšos tajā atkal paceltos.
but it's going more and more difficult.
Bet kļūst ar vien grūtāk.
Okay.
Darbojās šodien pilnēns.
What is Victor saying? Victor, what do you say?
Does the full moon influence you?
If I have full moon in my reactive mind, yes. Well, how can you identify if it's here and you don't know?
Jā, tieši tos, kas tev traucē.
How to find the things that are bothering you without you knowing?
Costs a lot of money.
Money is no problem.
Okay, money, no problem. Good. So you're in the right place now. Okay. Okay. So the question obviously is, what do we do about this? So if we know, somebody talking there, okay. You can ask me a question, not one another. Ask me anything. Okay, I can continue? Okay, good. If we know, like somebody here said, to identify between the good information and the bad information, or what goes in the aware mind, what goes in the reactive mind, then maybe we have an idea how to handle this. And tomorrow, if your friend asks you, where were you last night? You know where you were last night? And you say, I went to this lecture and this guy was talking and right? Okay. And your friend asked, so what was this guy talking about? And you can say, reactive mind, aware mind, anyhow. You know what we're saying, right? Tomorrow morning, you will know what we were talking about today. Yes? Of course. Good, of course. Why will you know what we were talking about today? Because what we are talking about today goes into your aware mind. Why is it going into your aware mind? What we're talking about today is in...
It's positive.
It's not trauma.
Good, it's not trauma, it's positive. What makes it positive? I will tell you what makes it positive.
Good. I don't need to make a surgery after that.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good. What makes it positive? We saw in the beginning, we spoke about power of choice. You decided to come here. Nobody forced you to come here.
Sometimes you...
No. Tonight. Not sometimes, but tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Okay. Now, sometimes you make the decision, but you came because you wanted to come here? Okay. And you have the choice to get out of here. So if anybody here looks at the watch and says, wow, it's late, I need to go, you can go. But if you want to go and I hold you here and I don't let you go, what happens?
You're gonna get trauma.
I'm going to get trauma. This is very good. I'm going to get trauma. So if my friends Kaspars and Gatis have a chain here, have a chain, a kette, chain, and tie you to your chair like this, okay, and you try to get out, but you're chained to your chair, okay, you lose your power of choice. And and tomorrow morning, when somebody asks you what was the lecture about, you will remember torturing, staying in a chain. You will not remember what Dany was talking about. You will not remember what Dany was, okay? So the experience becomes a bad experience, becomes torture, or becomes a trauma when, number one, it is not our choice. And Lauri said painful. And very important, I lose my consciousness.
Un vēl viens svarīgs mirklis, es zaudēju stāvu.
Okay? So we have a very, very clear definition of trauma.
Mums ir ļoti skaidra traumas definīcija.
Really, two things.
Tas divas lietas.
Pain,
Sāpes,
okay? Okay? Pain and long word unconscious.
sāpes un bezsamaņa.
Ness. Sorry, long word in English, unconsciousness. So we have pain and unconsciousness. Okay? If I get hit very hard by the ceiling falling on me,
Ja man pēkšņi uz galvas uzkrīt griezti,
what happens to me?
kas notiek ar mani?
So I have severe pain, I go unconscious.
Man ir briesmīgas sāpes, kā rezultātā zaudēju samaņu.
Right? Pain, we have two types of pain.
Mums ir divi veidi sāpes.
We have physical pain,
Fiziskās,
like a car crash, falling down. Excuse me? Physical is nothing, okay.
Mental is more.
Good. And we have emotional pain.
mums ir emocionālās un fiziskās sāpes.
We have emotional pain.
Physical pain being even really close to emotional. That's
It could be combined.
nearly same.
It could be combined.
Protams, varbūt arī abas kopā.
Physical pain would be a blow, hard blow to my body. It's physical, okay? Emotional is, we have the word loss.
Ja fiziskās sāpes, teiksim, ir spēcīgs trieciens ķermenim, tad emocionālās sāpes ir, teiksim, zaudējums.
Okay. Physical pain is, you go to the dentist
Fiziskās sāpes, jūs ejat pie zobārsta,
and he has to pull out your tooth.
un jums ir jāizdara zobs.
Then it's emotional.
Why is it emotional? Your tooth is so
Tas ir
important.
emocionālās.
Oh, my tooth! Oh, I don't want to lose my tooth! Ah. Okay, so, but loss of a tooth or taking out your tooth is for most people, not for you, but for most people,
Zobu izraušana būs fiziska.
it's physical. Before the dentist pulls out the tooth, what does he do?
Un pirms
He gives us
Anesthesia.
izraušanas,
anesthesia.
viņš jums iedod anestēziju.
Okay, anesthesia, okay? He puts us, so what is anesthesia?
Kas ir anestēzija?
It's local, it's excuse
It's
me?
blocking the ends of the nerves.
It's block, okay, so it's local unconsciousness. Like this area where he's going to pull out the tooth, he gives injections so I don't feel.
Praktiski šī te ķermeņa zona tiek padarīta nejūtīga.
Not to feel is local unconsciousness, okay?
Tā zona ir bezsamaņā, teiksim tā.
And when you go into hospital for a big operation, like, something, have to do something in the body,
Teiksim, slimnīcā jums ir paredzēta lielāka operācija.
they put you asleep,
Jūs vienkārši,
okay? They put you asleep because you cannot stand the pain, you cannot experience the pain,
jums ir liela anestēzija, lai jūs būtu bezsamaņā.
and the doctor knows you cannot experience the pain, and so he puts you into unconsciousness,
Tātad jūs esat bezsamaņā, kamēr ārsts jūs operē.
okay? Mother is at home in the kitchen,
Māte ir virtuvē mājās.
and she's cooking,
Un viņa gatavo ēdienu.
and boy is at school,
Un viņas dēls ir skolā.
and the time is 2:00, and she's making lunch for the boy,
Pulkstenis ir 2 un viņa gatavo pusdienas.
and she hears a knock on the door,
Un tad viņa dzird klavējumus pie durvīm.
and she opens the door.
Tad viņa atver durvis.
She doesn't see her boy.
Viņa neredz savu puiku.
She sees 2 police officers,
Viņa redz 2 policistus.
and the police officer says, "Are you the mother of little Peter?"
Un policists saka, vai tu esi Pētera mamma?
And the mother says,
Un
"Yes."
mamma saka, jā.
and she faints.
Un viņi jau sāk ģibt.
Why is mother going unconscious
Kāpēc māte ir tāda reakcija?
when the policeman asks her about little Peter?
Wrong imagination.
Well, what is she understanding?
Bad.
Ko māte saprot, ka
Police
tas ir
is
tāda
bad.
reakcija?
Police is bad, exactly. Police. We're all afraid of police. Why?
Policija nozīmē sliktas ziņas,
Because our contact with police is negative.
jo mūsu līdzinājais kontakts, teiksim, ar policiju ir bijis negatīvs.
But the mother, when they ask her about, are you the mother of little Peter? She faints. What is to faint?
Šajā gadījumā viņi zaudē stāvību.
She goes unconscious. Why?
Kādēļ viņi zaudē stāvību?
Big loss.
She understands something bad happened to little Peter.
Viņa iedomājās, ka kaut kas ļoti slikts ar viņas dēlu noticis.
And her solution
Un viņas risinājums
is to go unconscious.
ir zaudēt stāvību.
She does not want to hear what the policeman is going to say to her.
Viņa nevēlas dzirdēt to, ko policists viņai teiks.
Tas vēl nav apzināts.
No.
It's not conscious, it's unconscious decision to faint.
It's not like awareness.
It's automaticity.
Jā.
I can tell you I have
Es teiktu, ka tā ir zemapziņas.
Is the work of unconsciousness.
yeah, I mean I can tell you I have personal experience with this. Not happy, sad. I was officer in the Israeli army, lieutenant.
Es biju Izraels armijas oficieris.
Lieutenant in the Israeli army, and the last job I had in the Israeli army
Un pēdējais darbs, kas man bija armijā,
was to tell people when somebody died in the family.
bija cilvēki, kas nodod sliktās ziņas, ka kāds no viņa ģimenes locekļiem ir gājis bojā.
Good job.
So officer that is old officer, 40 years old,
40 gadus vecs policijas darbinieks,
before you're released,
pirms dienas beigām.
if you have good communication skill,
Jā, ir labas komunikācijas spējas,
and you look okay,
izskaties labi.
they put you in a special unit,
Tu esi norīkots īpašā vienībā,
which is unit to go to the family and tell the family, sorry, your son is dead.
praktiski tie cilvēki, kas iet uz mājām un paziņo, ka, teiksim, jūsu dēls ir kā aizmirst.
And when I talk to you about this now, I get emotional.
Un tad, kad es ar jums par šo te runāju, es arī kļūstu emocionāls.
And I can have tears in my eyes.
Un man pat varbūt acīs asaras.
Because I had the experience a few times of going to family
Jo man ir bijušas vairākas pieredzes, kad es eju pie ģimenēm,
and telling mother, father, brother, sorry.
nododo šīs
So it's
ziņas.
been like also trauma for you.
Yeah, now I talk and I'm like, you can hear me trembling and I'm getting a little bit uneasy.
Man pašām tā bija trauma.
Excuse me?
Disturb?
Sorry?
Disturb.
Disturbed? Yeah, definitely. Okay. So we were all happier before, now we're all a bit sad.
Mēs bijām laimīgi, tagad mēs visi esam skumji.
So I'm sorry for putting you into depression.
Atvainojos, ka jums nodevu.
So we have the scale of emotions. And when we talk about fun things or we think happy concepts, we go up the scale of survival.
Mēs domājam labas domas vai piedzīvojam patīkums notikums, mēs paceļamies šajā skalā.
And when we talk bad things, sad things, we go down the scale.
Un pretēji, kad mēs runājam par
We go closer to the bottom, to death.
kad mēs
okay.
runājam par skumjām lietām vai pieredzam kaut ko negatīvu, mēs nolaižamies zemāk par šo skalu, kas tuvinās jau nāvei, apātijai un visām negatīvām.
Okay, good. So now, I think the lady asked, so what do we do about this?
Tātad, ko mums ar to izdarīt?
And I said 4 minutes.
Mums teica 5 minūšu laikā būs
But I think it's already, about 10 minutes ago. It's already 10 minutes.
Already
8. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Atvainojos par
Um,
kavēšanu.
You definitely make money.
Yeah, a bit longer. Okay. So we have aware, and we have mind, aware mind, reactive mind,
Tātad mums ir analītiskais un reaktīvais prāts.
and we have trauma,
Un mums ir traumas.
going into the reactive mind.
Kas ir
Why? Why do we have, like now we have lecture, we think it's going to the aware mind, now a little bit went into the reactive mind. So here's this guy.
Tad tu varēsi tā kā sliktās tās atmiņas kontrolēt.
He says that when you put all the aware mind into reactive mind, you'll be able to control all memories.
Well, let's see, okay. Now I don't agree with you anymore. I want to know, not to not know. Hypnotism works on somebody going into my reactive mind, making changes to my reactive mind. We do the opposite of hypnosis. Okay. You know, in India they have fakirs. And fakirs like to go to sleep on a nail bed. And they can walk on fire, right? I cannot do it. If I go on, on fire, I get burnt. I have a bad trauma. Goes into my reactive mind. But how can fakir do this? Practice, good, practice. Or a young student goes to study medicine in university. And the first time they go to operation room. And the professor takes a stomach. And starts getting up an old body. What does young student do?
Crashing.
He faints. He faints because he cannot look at this. He says, "Well, boom."
He's not used to it.
It's not used to it, exactly. But of course, the old professor, he's cut so many bodies, he doesn't care. Okay, you look at it. Okay.
I'm eating some bread.
So it means we are used to it for trauma and we don't care about other traumas.
Okay.
Not so hardly.
So what is the difference between trauma and not trauma? We have one more word. And the one more word is confront. Can you read it? This is terrible. Okay. So the difference between what goes into aware mind, what goes into reactive mind, what is good, pleasant experience, and what is trauma. We had painful, we had unconscious. Is because we say trauma is pain. I'm sorry, pain and unconsciousness. Unconsciousness, okay. So, what determines for me, what for me is going to bring me into unconsciousness is ability to confront. Now, this is from Latin. This is from Latin. Con is together. Like cooperation, community, communism. Com is together or cooperation, right? Front is my face. Alright? In Latin, front is face, front. So, confront is my ability to look at something or to see something and feel comfortable. Okay? Those things that I can confront, that I can see, that I can be aware of and feel comfortable will go into my aware mind. Though,
Good.
okay, good.
I like what I hear.
Okay, that is great. Thank you. And those things that I cannot confront,
Un tās lietas, ko es nespēju mierīgi pieredzēt,
that I cannot face,
un nespēju viņām stāties pretī,
that make me feel uncomfortable,
kuras man liek justies nekomfortabli,
will become a trauma for me.
tās man kļūst par traumām.
So the Indian fakir, he sees fire, coal, he just walks, he doesn't care.
Indiešu faķīrs vienkārši iet pa karstām uglēm.
I see coal, I want to run away.
Es ieraugu to pašu, bet man gribas bēgt.
And if somebody pushes me to walk on it,
Un ja kāds man grūdīs,
I will get
staigāt,
burnt,
es apdegšu,
I will have pain,
man būs sāpes,
I will go unconscious,
zaudēšu samaņu,
I will have a trauma in my reactive mind.
un manā reaktīvā prātā būs trauma.
Okay, so we have a very clear separation.
Tātad mums ir ļoti skaidrs nodalījums.
What I can confront, what I feel comfortable, goes into my aware mind,
Tātad, ko es spēju mierīgi pieredzēt, tas nokļūst manā analītiskajā prātā,
and I can use the information later on for making decisions.
un to informācijas vēlāk var izmantot lēmumu pieņemšanai.
And what I am afraid of,
Un tas, no kā es baidos,
what I cannot face comfortably,
ko es nespēju, kam es nespēju stāties pretī,
we use confront to mean face comfortably, with comfort. Okay, so sometimes I go to a bar, and when I go to a bar, I see a pretty girl.
tātad dažreiz eju uz bāru un tur ir skaista meitene.
And when I see a pretty girl in the bar, I want to go and start talking to her.
Un tad, kad es redzu smuku meiteni, es ar viņu gribētu iepazīties.
But I get nervous.
Bet es kļūstu nervos.
Why does it make me nervous when I see a pretty girl in a bar?
Kāpēc tas man padara nervos?
Because you have a wife.
Because I have a wife.
Ja man ir
Good. Because many times in the past, when I approached a girl
Jo daudzas reizes iepriekš manā dzīvē, kad es kā iepazīties
and I said to her, "Hi, what is your name?"
es piegāju, pateicu, sveiki, kā tev sauc?
She slapped me.
Iedevu ļauju.
Go away.
That's a trauma.
So I have a trauma. So
Tātad tā bija trauma.
when I see a pretty girl and I get excited,
But don't confront.
I have low confront. What do?
Tagad, kad es ieraugu smuku meiteni, man ļoti zems tāds konfrontēšanas līmenis.
What do I
Tātad,
do?
Ko es daru?
When I'm in a bar, in a party, and I see a girl and I want to start.
Drink, of course.
You drink, exactly. Good answer. Why do we drink alcohol?
Kādēļ mēs dzeram alkoholu?
Social lubricant.
Social lubricant. Why? Because it lowers our consciousness. It makes us less aware.
Tas pazemina mūsu apzināšanās līmeni.
So our solution to difficult situation
Tātad mūsu risinājums grūtām situācijām
or our solution to pain
vai arī pret sāpēm
is to lower awareness.
ir pazemināt mūsu apzināšanās līmeni.
Like I said, we go to the dentist, he wants to pull out a tooth,
Tas ir
he
tāpat
gives
kā,
us anesthesia.
kā iet pie zobārsta, mēs dabūjam anestēziju, lai mums nesāpē.
I am in a party, I want to hang out, I want to feel loose, I want to have a good time.
Gribu justies komfortabli un forši.
So I start drinking.
Es nedaudz iedzēru.
Why? Because it lowers my level of consciousness.
Tas pazemina manu apzināšanos.
So consciousness also, like Kaspers was asking, is not on-off. There is,
Apzināšanās arī nav tikai ieslēgtā, izslēgtā stadijā.
there is, of course, the most unconscious you can be is dead.
Vislielākā, tā teikt, galējā veselības forma, protams, ir nāve.
Or you can be in a situation that you fainted, that you faint.
Vai arī tu vari
Bum.
būt situācijā, kad vienkārši esi noģības.
But you can also be a little bit unconscious or a lot of conscience, or I have pain, I take Advil, aspirin, I take something against pain.
Varbūt arī tā, ka, teiksim, man ir sāpes, es iedzeru pretsāpju līdzeklis, un man tā kā vairs bišķiņ galva, bet arī sāp mazāk.
Okay, so situations that I cannot confront, that are painful, that are difficult, become a trauma, and they go into my reactive mind.
Tātad, atkārtojiet vēlreiz, visas tās lietas, ko mēs nespējam mierīgi uztvert, kļūst par traumām un nokļūst mūsu reaktīvajā.
Okay?
Vai tas ir skaidrs līdz šim?
Okay, I want to finish my talk because some people here are getting tired.
Es vēlos beigt runāt, jo daudzi izskatās izskatās, ka ir noguris.
Patrick, you have any questions for me?
Kāds pēdējais?
No question. Good boy.
Kāds pēdējais teikums bija?
Par tām traumām?
Jā.
Viss, ko mēs nespējam komfortabli un mierīgi pieredzēt, kļūst par tām traumām.
Okay. So I promise this is the last sheet I use.
Apsolu, ka šis ir pēdējais.
And yes. Yeah, no, I might be. Okay. And I promise I will finish in 2 or 3 minutes.
Apsolu, ka beigšu kādās 3 minūtēs.
And if you have questions, please ask me questions.
Un, ja jums ir jautājumi, lūdzu uzdod.
Okay? Because we have been going now, wow, almost 2 hours.
Already?
Wow. An hour and a half maybe.
Going good.
Going good? Thank you. Good. But we need to go home. It's getting late. Okay, so I will wrap up. You understand wrap up? Put packaging. If now we know that what is disturbing us in life is the bad memories, the traumas and reactive mind.
Ja mēs tagad zinām, ka viss, kas mums dzīvē traucē, tās traumas, kas ir mūsu reaktīvajā prātā,
and that this is affecting us in a negative way.
un ka tas mūs negatīvi ietekmē,
And we know what Alex said is not true. The solution is not to go into reactive mind, but to go up from reactive mind to aware mind.
jā, un risinājums nav no analītiskā prāta pārēt uz reaktīvo, bet tieši otrādi no reaktīvā prāta pacelties uz analītisko.
So we have the person here, and we have the spirit there,
Tātad ir cilvēks un ir gars.
and we have aware mind,
Šis ir mūsu analītiskais prāts.
and in the reactive mind we have traumas
Un te ir mūsu traumas, mūsu reaktīvajā prātā.
in reactive mind.
Why is the space between these pictures?
Because here, this is the time track, okay, time,
Kāpēc tur ir pārtraukums starp dalībām?
and here I had a car accident,
Jo rekrutā ir mūsu vienotā laika līnija,
and when the car hit me, I went unconscious,
un teiksim, tur ir mirklis, kad es cietu auto avārijā,
and
un
2
zālē samaņa.
and 2 hours later I woke up in hospital.
Un pēc 2 stundām pamodos slimnīcā.
So 2 hours
2 stundas
are missing from my aware mind
iztrūkst no mana analītiskā
and
prāta.
went into the reactive mind.
Jo šī pieredze bija traumatiska, līdz ar to viņa tika saglabāta reaktīvajā prātā.
And every time I drive my car on the street where the accident happened, I feel afraid.
Un katru reizi, kad es pabraucu garām tai vietai, kur es cietu avārijā, man pārspien šērmoļi.
And I was hit by a green truck,
Un man avārija bija ar zaļu mašīnu.
and every time I see a green truck, I'm afraid.
Un katru reizi, kad es ieraugu zaļu mašīnu, man pārņem bailes.
Okay. And here, I don't know, I went to hospital for some operation, and this is anesthesia, this is when I woke up.
Teiksim, šis ir vēl viens piemērs ar operāciju, kad man bija narkoze, es biju bezsamaņā,
And this
tas
could,
bija operācijas stundas.
and
What
this,
about when a human being is sleeping? Because it's kind of also
it's shut off,
Kā ir ar miegu?
but you don't receive traumas. It's just sort of a blank in your mind because you have no memories of what happened. Or this could be experience of mother and the policeman, and she faints. So every time we have a moment of unconsciousness, a moment of trauma, aware mind is shut off, reactive mind goes into operation.
Tātad katru reizi, kad mums ir kāda negatīva pieredze, kāda trauma vai samaņas zaudēšana, analītiskais prāts izslēdzas, un šī pieredze tiek saglabāta reaktīvajā prātā.
Okay.
We filming everything in time track?
Yeah, we have full memory or full recording of everything in the time track, maybe except, like David says, when you are asleep.
Jo mūsu atmiņā saglabājas viss no mūsu dzīves, varbūt izņemot tad, kad mēs gulējam.
So maybe 90%, 95% of the time is in the aware mind,
Apmēram 95% no visām atmiņām varētu būt analītiskajā prātā,
But what is giving me 100% of problems is traumas in the reactive mind.
Bet tas, kas man rada 100% problēmas, ir šīs traumas, kas ir manā reaktīvajā prātā.
Okay, so I promised 3 minutes. Again, I'm missing the time. But we have a process. I'm finishing. Sandra, give me 1 more minute.
Mums ir process,
We have a process we call listening.
ko saucam par klausīšanos.
Okay, listening. And the process of listening is between this guy.
Un klausīšanās process notiek starp.
I say what I do what David say. I make small pictures now to finish in 1 page. And we have this guy. And this guy,
Starp diviem cilvēkiem.
this guy has his aware mind, has his reactive mind.
Šim vienam cilvēkam ir viņa analītiskais prāts un traumas viņa reaktīvajā prātā.
Now this guy, the listener,
Un otrs cilvēks, kas ir klausītājs,
is asking questions.
otram cilvēkam uzdod jautājumus.
Specific questions.
Right. This guy is asking questions of a process, so very exact, very precise questions.
Tie ir ļoti konkrēti un specifiski jautājumi, kas ir šajā procesā.
And these questions make this guy who is receiving the listening look into his mind.
Un šī procesa rezultātā tas otrs cilvēks atcerās notikumus no savas dzīves.
And these pictures of trauma that the person cannot see
Un tās traumas, ko cilvēks nespēja ieraudzīt,
because they're in the subconscious.
jo viņas ir zemapziņā,
We push them away from our memory.
izslēguši no savas apziņas.
We cannot see this with the guiding or the help of the listener. This guy
Ar
is
klausītāju palīdzību,
listener. With the guide, with the help of the listener, this person can start looking into his reactive mind.
ar klausītāju palīdzību, caur šo procesu, cilvēks spēja ieskatīties arī savā reaktīvajā prātā.
The technique is simple
Tehnika ir vienkārša,
and it's all explained in the book,
un tā ir paskaidrota šajā grāmatā.
and it's late now,
Un jau ir valsts,
so I will not go into it now.
tāpēc neieslīgšu detaļās.
The technique makes it possible for this person to look into his reactive mind.
Tātad ar šīs tehnikas un procesa palīdzību ir iespējams ieskatīties savā reaktīvajā prātā.
Because everything in the reactive mind, like I just said on the page before, is incidents I did not confront.
Jo tie visi ir notikumi, kurus es nespēju mierīgi uztvert.
But now, with the guidance or direction of the listener,
Bet tagad ar klausītāju vadību un palīdzību
I can confront my reactive mind.
es spēju mierīgi stāties pretī savam reaktīvajam prātam.
And I can look what is in here.
Es spēju ieraudzīt, kas tur īsti ir, kas mums tagad traucējas.
When here is this guy, here is his reactive mind, and here we have our listener is here.
Šeit ir mūsu klausītāji.
Okay. When this guy here is looking at this picture from the reactive mind,
Un kad cilvēks caur šo procesu skatās savās atmiņās, savā prātā,
and is now for the first time confronting what he could not confront when it happened.
un kad viņš nokļūst līdz reaktīvā prāta traumām, un kad viņš pirmo reizi viņām stājās pretī tagad, ko viņš nespēja darīt pirms tam, teiksim, ja viņš zaudēs samaņu.
Okay, so we have the memories we did not confront in the reactive mind,
Tātad mums tur ir atmiņas tajā reaktīvajā prātā, ko mēs nespējām mierīgi uztvert.
and now when we do listening,
Un klausīšanas procesā laikā,
for the first time we start looking into our reactive mind.
pirmo reizi mēs sākam skatīties savā reaktīvajā prātā.
So this information that was in the reactive mind is now going into my aware mind.
Un caur šo procesu šī trauma, šī informācija, kas tika glabāta reaktīvajā prātā, tiek pārveidota uz analītisko prātu.
Because one thing I can promise, we cannot change the past.
Viena lieta ir tiešām droša, mēs nespējam mainīt pagātni.
Can you give examples?
Well, I cannot change what happened yesterday.
Es nespēju mainīt to, kas
No,
notika
but,
vakar, teiksim.
But I can change the effect of the past on the present.
Bet ko es spēju mainīt? Es spēju mainīt, kā šī pagātne ietekmē manu tagadni.
So if I confronted, if I handled in listening all the situation in the past,
Tātad, ja caur šo klausīšanās procesu es esmu stājies pretī, sapratis un konfrontējis, jau mierīgi stājies pretī visām šīm lietām un traumām pagātnē, kas man bija.
so I handled in listening all the situations of the past that girl slapped me,
Teiksim, visām tām lietām, visām tām reizēm, kad es stājos pretī, visām tām reizēm, kad, teiksim, meitene man iepļaukāja bārā.
now when I see a pretty girl, hi Ilse,
Hai,
no problem,
tagad man viss ir kārtībā.
I can talk to the lady without drinking.
Es varu runāt ar meitenēm bez iedzeršanas.
And now my wife has a problem.
Tagad ir manai sievai problēmas.
I was afraid of doing something.
Man vajag vēl kaut ko uzsākt, kaut ko darīt.
People are afraid to fly, people are afraid to drive a car,
Cilvēkiem dažiem ir bail lidot, dažiem ir bail mašīnu,
people are afraid of going in a certain area.
dažiem ir bail doties uz konkrētu vietu.
We know that people have strange emotional reactions.
Mēs zinām, ka cilvēkiem bieži ir jocīgas, neparastas vai nevēlamas emocionālas reakcijas.
Difficult to study.
Difficulty studying.
Vai grūtības mācīties.
We see young people, like we have here, young kids, always happy, enthusiastic.
Mēs redzam daudz jaunas cilvēkus, kas ir vienmēr entuziastiski un priekpilni.
We were looking on the scale before,
Pirms tam aplūkojām skalu.
and kids, young people are always high on the scale.
Un jaunie cilvēki un bērni parasti ir skalas augstgalā.
Happy, enthusiastic, curious about life. What is this? What is this? Why?
Zinātnāri, zinkārīgi,
Ja viņiem nav
laimīgi.
dabziņas,
Maz traumas ir vienkārši.
Because they don't have a lot of traumas.
Exactly. They don't have a lot of traumas, and
apziņas galvenokārt.
they don't have the traumas reactivated, operating all the time.
No viņiem nav traumas un nav arī atkārtot aktivizētu traumu.
Old people all the time tell the young people, what do they say to young people?
Ko veci cilvēki vienmēr saka jauniem?
Grandma, what do you tell your children, to the
Ko
grandchildren?
jūs saviem mazbērniem bieži saka?
Nedara tā, nedara šitā.
Don't do this, don't do that.
Mācams.
Don't do this, don't do that. Be careful.
Es uzmanīgs.
Why?
Kāpēc?
Because grandmother has a lot of bad experience,
Jo
Hello?
vecām viņiem ir daudz, ir plaša pieredze.
a lot of
Un arī
trauma,
Daudz sliktas pieredzes.
a lot of trauma. So when we take grandma and we talk to her about her traumas,
Kad mēs ņemam cilvēku un runājam,
because
par viņu
old,
traumām,
old people had pain,
jo pieredzējušiem cilvēkiem ir sāpes,
old people, well, like myself, I'm not talking about the ladies, we lost people,
viņi ir zaudējuši kādus tuviniekus,
people who we loved left us, went away,
vai
You know,
cilvēki viņus pameta,
we had
vai
operations, we had a good job, we were fired from a good job,
Mums ir būt atlaidi no laba darba,
our car was stolen,
nozaka mašīnu,
we lost money on bad investment.
investējot pazaudējām
I
naudu,
mean-
un tālāk.
We in life accumulated a lot of traumas.
Dzīves laikā uzkrājām daudz traumatisku pieredzi.
And so we go down the scale
Līdz ar to mēs noslīdam šajā testā.
and we are very careful,
Un mēs vienmēr esam piesardzīgi.
okay? So in listening,
Klausīšanās procesā
we reverse the process.
mēs to visu apgriežam otrādi.
So we help the person, the listener helps the person look into his reactive mind,
Tātad klausītājs palīdz cilvēkam ieskatīties viņa
find the
reaktīvajā
trauma,
prātā, atrast
find-
traumas
and confront, look at it.
un tām stāties pretī.
But why I can do this for myself? This
Well, you can
alone?
try. Well, you can try.
No, because the listener and it's together.
Okay,
Kāpēc to nevar darīt pats?
you can try. and you will save buying the book.
Jo tas ir dabas dīvaini.
But why did this incident go into the reactive mind?
Kādēļ šī trauma nokļūst?
What made it a trauma? Because you could not confront it.
Jo tu nespēji tam mierīgi stāties pretī, jo tu mierīgi uztver.
With the help of a listener
Ar klausītāju palīdzību,
who knows the technique of
kurš pārzina tehniku,
raising confront
kā pacelt mierīgas uztveršanas līmeni
and correctly directing attention.
un pareizi vadot cilvēku uzmanību.
Okay? Because non-confront is I look away.
Lai no tā, ka cilvēks vienkārši nobīstās vai neaizskat nedarīšu.
You know, you walk on the street, somebody was talking about homeless people, and there's somebody, an old lady, asking for money, or homeless people. What do? I don't want to see this.
Kad uz ielas ir rūpīgi, jūs bieži vienkārši pagriežaties un neskatāties uz viņu pusi, tā kā jūs viņus neredzat.
So some things I don't want to confront.
Ir lietas, kuras es negribu konfrontēt, kurām es negribu stāties pretī vai negribu viņus atcerēt.
And if it's heavy
Un ja tā ir smaga lieta
and painful,
un sāpīga,
I go unconscious.
tad es esmu slamīga.
So there's a total non-confront.
Tātad es vispār viņu mierīgi neuztveru.
So now, with the help of another person,
Tātad ar šī otra cilvēka klausītāja palīdzību
I raise my confront.
es šo savu uztveršanas un pretī stāšanās līmeni paceļu.
Because the listener, he can easily confront my trauma.
Jo klausītājs mierīgi var uztvert manas traumas.
And the listener who studies the book and the techniques,
Un klausītājs, kurš ir izstudējis šo grāmatu un šo tehnoloģiju,
the first drill, Sandra, please, 2 more minutes, please. The first thing you learn in the book
pirmā lieta, ko jūs apgūstat grāmatā,
is raising confront.
ir pacelt šo te mierīgas uztveršanas līmeni.
Because if the listener has the same trauma as the person and he doesn't want to talk about it, what is he doing?
Ja šī klausītājiem ir tāda pati traumatiska pieredze kā otram cilvēkam, ko tad darīt?
He's not doing his job.
Tad viņš nedara savu darbu.
He cannot work if he's afraid of looking at a trauma.
Viņš nespēja strādāt, ja pats nespēja stāties pretī traumām.
So in chapter 5, the first thing we learn in chapter 5 is raising confront.
5. nodaļā pirmā lieta, ko apgūstam, ir pacelt šo te līmeni, kad spēj stāties pretī savām pagātnes traumām.
Okay. So, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the listener is helping the person look into his reactive mind, confront the trauma. A trauma, when it is fully looked at, confronted,
Kad šī trauma tiek pilnībā konfrontēta,
goes from the reactive mind to the analytical mind.
no reaktīvā prāta nonāk analītiskajā.
We call it erase.
Mēs to saucam par izdzēšanu.
Like you write something with pencil, you take eraser and you can delete.
Vienkārši izdzēst to savu traumu.
In computer we hit delete button, we erase the trauma. We do not change the past,
Mēs nemainam pagātni,
but we change the effect of the past on us today.
bet mēs nomainam to, kā šī pagātnes pieredze mūs šobrīd ietekmē.
Okay? And then we go back and we take this one
Tad mēs pakāpjamies vēl soli atpakaļ, izdarām to pašu.
and we erase this trauma and it goes into aware mind.
Tad mēs izdzēšam vēl vienu traumu, mēs viņu neutralizējam un atmetam pārī analītiskajam prātam.
And one day, after, I don't know, maybe 100 hours of doing listening,
Un kādu dienu pēc varbūt 100 stundām klausīšanās procesu vadīšanas.
we reach the very happy state.
Are you talking now about the listener?
Yeah. Well, after 100 hours of receiving listening,
Pēc apmēram 100 stundām, kad man tiek vadīts šīs te process.
so one day after a person received many hours of listening,
Teiksim, kādu dienu, kad es esmu šo procesu izgājusi,
he will achieve the very happy state of no more traumas in the reactive mind.
Cilvēkam būs sasniegts stāvoklis, ka viņa reaktīvajā prātā vairs nebūs traumas.
And okay, I promised, but I don't keep my promise. So we have now this person, and everything is in the aware mind.
Tagad mums ir cilvēks, kura visa pagātnes pieredze ir viņa analītiskajā prātā.
Nothing in the reactive mind.
Reaktīvajā prātā vairs nav apslēpta trauma.
Everything erased.
Viss ir izdzēsts.
Everything in the aware mind.
Un visas atmiņas ir analītiskajā prātā.
And this state that a person reaches, what do we call it?
Un šīs ir stāvoklis tiek saukts par
Got this? What is this? Okay.
par attīrītā cilvēka stāvokli.
Okay, we have the state of clear. So we have a person who no longer has reactive mind.
Mums ir cilvēks, kuram vairs nav reaktīvā prāta.
All the experiences from the past are in his aware mind.
Visas viņa pagātnes pieredzes tagad ir viņa analītiskajā prātā.
He's fully aware.
Viņš pilnīgi apzinās to visu.
He no longer has bad effect from reactive mind
Viņu vairs neietekmē reaktīvais prāts.
because he doesn't have a reactive
Jo
mind
viņam tā
anymore.
vairs nav.
Okay? So we learn how to achieve the state of clear.
Mēs iemācāmies, kā sasniegt šo stāvokli.
We have all the technique, all the explanation in the book
Skaidrojumi un tehnoloģija ir grāmatā,
on achieving the state of clear.
lai šo stāvokli sasniegtu.
In our center in Haifa,
Mūsu Haifas centrā
many people have achieved the state of clear.
šo stāvokli sasnieguši ļoti daudz cilvēku.
I achieved the state of clear many years ago.
Es to izdarīju. Uh,
I'm not perfect. I'm not different from anyone else.
Neesmu ideāls un neesmu atšķirīgs no jums nekādā ziņā.
But I think I am stable.
Bet es domāju, ka es esmu stabils.
Most of the time I'm happy.
Lielākoties laimīgs.
I have ability to study.
Man ir spēja mācīties nebūt.
I have ability to analyze situation now
Man ir spēja pašlaik analizēt situāciju.
in present time without effect of memories from the past.
Bez kaut kādu pagātnes atmiņu ietekmes.
Okay? Question.
Cik jums tas prasīja laika?
How quickly did you reach the state of clear?
Excuse me?
How long did it take you to reach the state of clear?
It's very different from one person to the
Cilvēkiem
other.
sašķirās. Cik ātri
Um,
sasniegt šī te attīrītā cilvēka stāvokli, vai ne?
so some people can reach it in 100 hours of listening.
Daži to var sasniegt pēc 100 šī procesa
Tami, you have
stundām.
You have experience. Tami is an expert listener.
Tamija ir, man sieva Tamija pieredzēja klausītājs.
She has been doing professionally listening for over 30 years.
Viņu šo procesu profesionāli vada jau vairāk kā 30 gadus.
Tami has brought tens of people, hundreds of people to the state of clear.
Un viņi palīdzējuši šo stāvokli sasniegt ar simtiem cilvēku.
Can you say how long it takes to achieve clear? Not necessarily. I mean, some people have had a lot of traumas in the past,
Daudziem cilvēkiem ir bijušas ļoti daudz traumas pagātnē.
and it takes more time to reach the trauma.
Un varbūt paiet ilgāks laiks, kamēr tās visas traumas sasniedz.
If a person used a lot of drugs
Teiksim, ja cilvēks ļoti spēcīgi un daudz lietoja narkotikas,
or had a lot of operation
vai
with
viņam bija daudz operāciju ar narkozēm un
with
vispār,
narcose, with anesthetics, or drink a lot of alcohol,
vai lietoja daudz alkohola,
then there is more block on his memory.
tad viņa atmiņā ir vairāk bloku.
So it can take longer to find the traumas.
Līdz ar to tas prasa ilgāku laiku, lai atrastu šīs traumas.
We have many processes that we work with.
Mums ir vairāk procesu, ar ko strādājam, šis nav vienīgais.
We have, for example, process called detox.
Mums ir detoksifikācijas process, tāds attīrīšanas process.
Toxin is poison that we take into the body.
Kas attīra ķermeni no toksīniem, ko mēs esam uzņēmuši dzīves laikā.
And detox is to take the poison out of the body.
Un tie toksīni, protams, ir rinda, un tad mēs šo ķermeni attīndējam.
And drugs, medicine, alcohol, all these things are toxins, bad food, preservatives, pollution, all these are toxins, poisons.
Daudz toksīnu, kas nonāk mūsu organismā, gan narkotikas, gan medikamenti, alkohols, piesārņotā vide, pārtiks piedevs.
And they affect our mind.
Tie ietekmē arī mūsu prātu.
And they cause more barrier between the person, the spirit, and his mind.
Un rada lielākus blokus starp pašu cilvēku, starp garu un viņa reaktīvo prātu.
So we know that people who drink a lot or use drugs have bad memory.
Mēs arī zinām, ka cilvēkiem, kas ļoti daudz lieto narkotikas vai alkoholu, viņiem ir sliktāk atmiņa.
So the first thing people come to us, they do detox.
Pirmā lieta, ko šādi cilvēki pie mums atnākot dara, viņi iziet šo te attīrīšanās programmu.
To get rid of the drugs.
Lai attīrītu ķermeni no toksīniem.
And the effect of the poison on my mental ability, on my awareness.
Un attīrītu prātu arī no šo toksīnu ietekmes.
Then we do exercise, chapter 5, to raise my confront.
Un tad mēs 5. nodaļas pirmo vingrinājumu veicam, kas ir pacelt, tā teikt, stāšanās pretī, jeb uztveršanas līmeni.
Which is my ability to see things.
Kas ir mana spēja pieņemt situāciju, uztvert situāciju.
Then we work on memory.
Tad mēs strādājam ar atmiņu.
We have recall processes,
Mums ir atcerēšanās process.
which makes it easy for me to remember things from the past.
Kas cilvēkam ļoti palīdz atcerēties lietas no pagātnes.
And then we go into what we call clearing process,
Tad ir attīrīšanas procesi,
which is technique for getting into the reactive mind, finding the traumas, erasing the trauma, and when we finished erasing all the trauma, we have the state of clear. Every person I met
katrs cilvēks, ko es esmu
in my life, or every person Tani works with, has a reactive mind.
katram ir bijis reaktīvais prāts.
You were born, right? You were born, right?
Kādam lielāks, kādam mazāks, bet tu piedzimi, vai ne?
I'm born already crying.
Exactly. So birth is a trauma,
Piedzimšana pat par sevi ir traumatiska pieredze.
and every lady who ever had a baby, giving birth is a trauma.
Dzemdēšana arī pat par sevi ir trauma.
So birth is a trauma for mama and for baby.
Tas ir abiem gan mātei, gan bērnam.
And we all had experiences in life that made us feel bad.
Mums visiem dzīvē ir bijušas pieredzes, kas mums ir likušas justies slikti.
So every person has traumas and has a reactive mind.
Līdz ar to katram cilvēkam ir lielāks vai mazāks reaktīvais prāts.
So the good news is
Labā ziņas tomēr ir tādas, ka
that every person can reach a state of clear.
katrs cilvēks var sasniegt attīrītā cilvēka stāvokli.
Like even if we have somebody with, I don't know, he looks crazy, difficult, all kinds of bad situations. Tami knows hundreds of different techniques
Tami zina simtiem dažādu tehniku,
to handle every situation of life.
lai tiktu galā ar katru dzīves situāciju.
So I have not yet, in 30 years that we have center in Haifa,
Šajos 30 gados, kopš mums ir
And-
centrs Haifā,
and hundreds of people who come to us from all over the
un
world.
zinām cilvēki, kas pie mums brauc no visas pasaules.
Now in Haifa we have doctor from England, Duncan, you met Duncan. We have doctor from England now
Mums
in
ir
Haifa.
doktors no Lielbritānijas,
He's not a young man, he's 70 years old.
viņam 70 gadi.
And today he finished in Haifa special process of listening.
Un šobrīd viņš mūsu centrā pabeidza īpašu klausīšanās procesu.
Because we have a whole team. We have Tami, we have
Mums ir
Aviv,
vesela komanda.
we have Tami, Aviv, Dima, Carmela. We have a whole team in Haifa. And he's working with, Aviv. And he says, today I finished this special process. I have been waiting 30 years to do this.
Un tad viņš arī teica, ka šodien es šo procesu esmu pabeidzis, bet es to gaidīju 30 gadus.
Because he heard about this many years ago.
Jo viņš par šo bija dzirdējis daudzus gadus atpakaļ,
He couldn't do it.
bet to nespēja
He didn't know
izdarīt,
what-
realizēt.
He didn't know where to do it. but finally he came to us and he said, wow.
Beidzot viņš pie mums atbrauc un to izdarīja.
So there are many techniques, many processes. So,
daudzas tehnikas un daudz procesu.
so every person can achieve the state of clear.
Lai katrs cilvēks spētu šo stāvokli sasniegt.
Your second question was, what happened?
Yeah, I'm clear. What's next?
You're happy, you're doing good.
Infinity.
Well,
Ready to die.
Davis, everybody will go home, you and I will stay another 5 hours and I will continue. Okay. Or you talk to Kaspars and Gatis and they tell you how to come to Haifa, to Israel, and you come to us. You come to visit us. It's not too difficult.
It's warm in there.
It's warm and it's not difficult to come. But yeah, when you achieve the state of clear,
Tiek sasniegts šis stāvoklis.
it's not that you're happy all the time.
Nav tā, ka tu visu laiku staigās mierīgs un laimīgs.
Like I'm clear, okay?
Man arī ir šis stāvoklis.
And when something bad happens,
Un ja kaut kas slikts
I feel it.
es to, protams, jūtu.
I'm not outside of life.
Es piedalos dzīves procesā.
You see it as a diamond, no?
No, not something perfect. I mean, I live in Israel and we have war in Israel with the Palestinian
Izrēlā
people
notiek kara darbība, kur es dzīvoju.
and it makes me sad.
Un, protams, tas ir skumji.
And sometimes we have bad news
Un mums dažreiz ir skumji.
and I say, oh no, this is bad, you know. So I have emotions, I go up and down the emotions.
Es, protams, emociju skalā nokrītu uz leju, kaut pēc tam paceļos.
But even with bad news, I go back up to feeling good about life quickly.
Bet ar visām šīm te sliktajām ziņām un lietām, kas notiek, es diezgan ātri atgriežos uz savu pastāvīgā punkta, kad es esmu laimīgs nākamajā.
I mean, I remember before I went clear when I was a young man,
Es atceros, kad es biju jaunāks un nebiju vēl sasniedzis šo stāvokli.
I could have a long time that I was depressed or sad.
Bija ilgstoši periodi, kad jutos skumji vai man bija depresija.
And I never knew why am I sad, why am I
Un
depressed.
es īsti nesaprotu, kāpēc man ir depresija, kāpēc es šādi skumji jūtos.
But I did realize, I don't know where and how, but I did
Nezinu kā, bet es sapratu.
I did realize, I don't know why, interesting question, why, not to take drug, not to take medicine.
Es tomēr apzinājos, ka, lai kaut kā sev palīdzētu, nelietot narkotikas un nelietot alkoholu.
Because if I'm depressed and I take from the psychiatrist an antidepressant,
Ja es lietoju antidepresantu,
they have so many medicines. It's like I play with the chemistry in my brain.
es sāku spēlēties ar savu smadzeņu ķīmiju.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Un tas man nelikās loģiski.
My mood is not a chemical phenomenon.
Mans garastāvoklis nav kaut kāda ķīmiska parādība.
So I want to be aware, I want to understand,
Es gribu būt pie pilnas apziņas, es gribu izprast.
and not use Prozac or vodka or
Un
hashish.
nelietot kaut kādas lietas, kas man
To be better.
zināšanas līmeni aizmiglo.
So a clear has the ability to go back up to confidence or happiness about life.
Tātad cilvēkam, kas ir sasniedzis šo stāvokli, viņam ir samērā viegli, un viņš tāds ātrāk atgriežas savā pastāvīgajā punktā uz skalas, kas ir apmierinātība, miers un visas pašas lietas, ko mēs gribam.
I said so much. And a clear can make a plan for the future.
Un cilvēks šādā stāvoklī var ātrāk, var konkrētāk nospraust mērķi dzīvē
And progress on his goals.
un, protams, doties pretī to sasniegšanai.
So in listening, we don't change you.
Jā.
Caur šo procesu cilvēks kādās netiek mainīts,
That is why it's called listening.
tāpēc tas ir sauks par klausīšanas procesu.
It's not psychotherapy.
Tā nav psihoterapija,
Because the listener is asking question
jo klausītājs uzdod jautājumus
and listening to your answer.
un tikai klausās.
He doesn't analyze
Neanalizē
and he doesn't make suggestions.
un nedod nekādus ieteikumus.
And he doesn't tell you anything about you.
Un neko tev par tevi nesaka.
Because if you come to me to listening, I don't know anything about you.
Ja tu teiksim pie manis atnāktu, jā, tad es par tevi neko nezinu.
And I have no idea how you should be.
Un man nav vispār nekādas
So the listener only asks questions.
Klausītājs tikai uzdod jautājumus.
And when you look into your mind,
Un kad cilvēks skatās savā reaktīvajā prātā,
you learn about yourself.
cilvēks mācās par sevi.
Tammy said before the word cognition. Now I have to flip again. Cognition. Cognitia. Or you have the word cognition in Latvian? Realization.
Apjēgšana, saprašana.
A new understanding about life.
Cilvēkam rodas jauna izpratne par dzīvi.
People who receive auditing, they say, wow, I didn't know this before.
Un cilvēki, kas iet šo procesu cauri, viņiem brīži tāda reakcija, ka es tikko kaut ko jaunu sapratu, apzinājos.
So you discover things about yourself.
Cilvēks kaut ko jaunu atklāj par sevi.
Nobody can tell you anything about you.
Neviens tev par tevi neko nevar pateikt.
You are the only one who can make decisions about your life and change your decisions.
Un mainīt tos lēmumus.
But there is a lot more data. I promise it's all here.
Bet daudz vairāk informācijas ir grāmatā.
Okay, the detox program is actually a physical program
Tā ir fiziska programma.
to remove the toxin, the poison out of your body.
Lai attīrītu ķermeni no toksīniem.
It's unexplained here, just very short
Tā
explanation.
ir pieminēta grāmatā, bet nav plaši aprakstīta.
But Gatis, you did detox in Haifa.
Yeah.
It was good?
Yes.
You feel better after?
Yes.
You want to say something about detox?
Yes. Jā. Es esmu izgājis to programmu detoksifikācijas Haifā.
Kāds narkotikas pirms tam lietoja?
Es domāju, gandrīz viss.
Māma, tev ilgi.
Tagad es konfrontēju, es varu par to runāt. Kas?
Patiesi par tām narkotikām?
Nu, nē, viss nē, bet, bija alkohols, ir bijis arī kaut kas no narkotikām, teiksim tā, jā. Un tas viss, teiksim, es jūtu, ka tas traucē. Un
Kā tieši tas tev traucē?
Viss kaut kādas...
Lata galvā?
Jā, tu neko nesaproti, jā. Ne tā, ka neko nesaproti, teiksim tā, bet tu vai lietas kaut kādas tu nespēji uztvert. Koncentrēšanās spējas ir zaudētas, atmiņa ļoti slikta.
Bet tu pats nevarēji atmest to biologu uz Izraelu?
Es nevarēju atrast citu. Es pamēģināju psihoterapeitus. Man ir, man liekas, tik daudz izmeklējumu nav nevienam. Tā ir man, jā. Es esmu izgājis viss ārsts. Viena atbilde tikai, ka tas ir stress un veģetīvā distonija saistīts viss ar to, un tādas izskaidrošanas nekādas nebija. Un tad radās tāda iespēja, teiksim tā, es nekam neticu. Es ticu tam, ko es pārbaudu uz sevi. Aizbraucu uz Haifu, mēs Kasparā devāmies, tikko uzsinājām, uzreiz nopirkām biļetes un aizbraucām uz turieni, būtiski 2 nedēļu laikā. Uzreiz es gāju detoksikācijas to programmu. Sākumā tur bija nelieli klausīšanās, viņš saucās kurss, jā, teiksim tā, jā. Viņš saucās dzīves remonts. Un izgāja to, un uzreiz bija detoksikācijas programma. Un es pēc tam sajūtos labāk, krietni labāk nekā pirms aizbraukšanas. Un par to, ka es nekam neticu, es pārbaudu sevi, un es biju gatavs pamēģināt. Citur es nevarēju atrast, teiksim tā, lai paceltu savu stāvokli. Un tad, kad es redzu, ka tas strādā, es esmu gatavs arī, man nav kauns to piedāvāt, to, teiksim tā, nosauksim viņu par produktu, arī jums, jo es zinu, ka būs rezultāts. Atliek tikai pamēģināt. Tas ir viss. Pirtī iešana bija, viņš ir dažāds, tā ir, teiksim, tāda Tas process aizņem, teiksim tā, līdz mēnesim. Bet cits viņu var pabeigt nedēļā, varbūt tās cits 2, cits 3. Tas ir ļoti individuāli.
Tās stāsts tagad tikai par detoksikāciju?
Jā, es tagad tikai par detoksikāciju stāstu.
Pastāst par to otru arī?
Jā, es esmu arī...
Ko sevi ietver detoksikācija? Kā tie procesi bija?
Tā ir iešana pirtī. Tu lēnām uzaudzē to līdz 4 stundām. Tas nav tā, ka tu uzreiz ieej un 4 stundas tur sēdi. Tu sāc pamaz drusciņam, tu dzer vitamīnus, eļas. Nu, tur ir vesels process, kāpēc tas tiek darīts. Ja? Jo, teiksim tā, kad šūnu nevar no sevis izlaist visas sliktās vielas, kas ir viņā iekšā, sakrājušās par šiem gadiem. Ja viņa nesaņem pretīm kaut kādu vielu, kuru ielikt tanī šūnā iekšā. Un tāpēc tiek tur dzerti vitamīni, eļas, minerālu vielas un vairāk arī nekas, laikam.
Ēd vēl.
Nu, jā, un tiek ēsti...
Pirts, vitamīni, pāruns.
Jā, nē, pāruns tādī nav. Un tiek ēsti augļi, dārzeņi, daudz. Nu, teiksim tā, daudz, vairāk nekā ikdienā, teiksim tā. Un jā, tas nav tā, ka tu ieej un 4 stundas sēdi, bet tu vari arī iziet padzert, paēst, un tad arī atpakaļ, jā?
Bet tu uzturtīri vajag interesē gaļu. Jūs arī ēdāt detoksikācijas laikā, vai ne?
Jā. Nav nekāda ierobežojuma. Ir vienīgais tā kā prasība vairāk lietot dārzeņus, jo dārzeņos ir vitamīni un viss nepieciešams.
Tā ir vienkārši no makrobioloģijas atkal skatpunkta, kad ir detoksikācijas process, bet tikai darbību, nav vispār gaļa, kas tāds pēc tā interesanti, ir salīdzināt.
Nē, gaļu var lietot un nav, es saku, nav nekāda ierobežojuma, bet kā jau jūs arī...
Es gaļu pati.
Jā, kā jau jūs arī sakat, tiek vairāk lietot augļi un dārzeņi. Nu, tāda prasība, teiksim tā.
Vai iekļaut kaut kāds fiziskās aktivitātes?
Jā, sākumā nepateikšu, cik tur kaut kādu pusstundu vai cik, vai 20 minūtes. Tu arī, ne uzreiz, bet tur sākumā 10 minūtes, pēc tam pirmajā dienā 10 minūtes, otrajā 20, tas ir 30. Tu skrien uz skreiceliņu, pirms tam izdzer niecīnu. Nu, tas ir...
B6? B6 vitamīns tas ir.
Nu, tas ir niecins, tas ir vitamīns, jā. Un viņš palīdz izvadīt no mūsu ķermeņa toksīnas. Nu, viņš tā kā pātrina to procesu. Tu paskrien, lai uzdzītu tā kā pulsu, lai tas viss ātrāk viss notiek, ja? Un viss, un ej uz pieti.
Un tas viss instruktoru uzraudzībā?
Jā. Visu laiku tevi vēro, ja, jo tā programma, teiksim tā, varbūt pat katram individuāli paskatīt, sastādīt, jā, tieši tā.
The time track is very long.
Šī laika līnija ļoti gara.
And we talk about the spirit.
Mēs runājam par garu.
And we talk about the body.
Un mēs runājam par ķermeni.
And I said the body is 80 years old, 70 years old. My mother is breaking the record. She's 95 years old. And she's still going on. But the body is born, grows, decays and dies. The spirit does not die. And the moment we are born, birth is spirit going into the body. Okay, I told you 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours. And death is the phenomenon of the spirit leaving the body. I think the gentleman said it's like I have a car and the car is no longer good. So, I'm sorry? So when my machine is kaput, I throw it away, I get a new machine. So the spirit, when the body is no longer any good,
Jā,
it's,
ķermenis vairs nav lietojams.
it's all, they got really messed up in a bad accident or illness,
Vai
the
tā
body
ir
is like,
slimība, vai tas ir vecums, vai tas ir nelaimes gadījums.
so the spirit leaves the body
Ja gars pamet šo ķermeni.
and it goes to look for a new body
Un tas meklē jaunu.
and to be a baby.
Bet tā ir tev.
Tātad,
So like I said, this is going to be another 3 hours.
Nu, kā
This is
es
going to
teicu,
be
nav
very
viss
long.
mums.
This is already very long. But the answer is yes.
Jā, tā ir.
When we go down the time track,
Kad ejam atpakaļ laika līnijā,
we find ourselves going back and, you know, out of the paper here all the way. And we find traumas from before this lifetime because we ask ourselves, what is life?
jo mēs sev jautājam, kas ir dzīve,
And I will finish with one final little anecdote.
un es beigšu šodienas uzstāšanos ar vienu nelielu anekdoti.
I need some more cucumber water.
Cucumber.
Yeah, fantastic. Very good for the throat. I flew about half a year ago.
Apmēram pirms pusgada
I flew from Berlin, Germany to Tel Aviv, to Israel.
es lidoju no Berlīnas Vācijā uz Tel Avivu
Thank you.
Izrēlā.
And next to me on the plane sits a Chinese lady.
Un man blakus lidmašīnā sēdēja viena ķīniešu dāma.
And Chinese ladies, they always look very young.
Un viņas vienmēr izskatās ļoti jaunas.
So I think she's maybe 20 years old.
Es domāju, varbūt viņai ir 20 gadi.
Later when I talked to her, I find out she's maybe 40 years old.
Nu, vēlāk ar viņu runājot, es noskaidroju, ka viņai drīz būs 40.
But you know, porcelain face, very...
Porcelāna seja lielāka.
And I say to myself,
Un tad es sev tā teicu,
why is a Chinese lady flying from Berlin to Israel?
kādēļ šī ķīniešu dāma lido no Vācijas uz Izraelu?
And I have a terrible characteristic, my character, very bad.
Man ir viena tāda neforša raksturiezīme.
Like a baby, I always say, why?
Vienmēr kā bērns es uzdodu jautājumus, kāpēc?
I'm always curious.
Vienmēr esmu zinātājs.
Okay. And I say to this lady, hello, and where are you from, and why are you flying, and where are you
Tad
going
mēs
to?
sākam, protams, sarunu, no kurienes viņa ir, kādēļ viņa lido.
So I start talking to her. And this lady, yes, she's Chinese, and the Chinese ladies are from China. So
Viņa ir ķīniete no Ķīnas.
So she is from China. She said the city, I don't remember. And when she was about 20, she moved to the United States.
Kad viņai bija apmēram 20 gadi, viņa pārvācās uz Ameriku.
And for many years, like 10, 12 years, she studied in the United States brain research.
Un 10 vai 20 gadus Amerikā viņa studēja
Remember-
smadzeņu darbību.
Somebody here said before brain.
Kāds tad mums tā minēja smadzenes?
So she's not a medical doctor. She's an expert on brain. She's a brain research.
Viņa nav ārsts, viņa ir zinātniece. Viņa pēc smadzenes.
And after she finished doctorate, she's a doctor for brain research.
Viņa ir šo zinātņu doktora,
And she finished this like about 10 years ago already.
un šo doktora grādu ieguva apmēram 10 gadus atpakaļ.
And then she moved to Germany.
Un tad viņa pārvācās uz Vāciju.
And in Germany, in the city Magdeburg,
Un Magdeburga, Vācija,
there's a big institute for brain research.
šajā pilsētā ir liels smadzeņu izpēcījums.
And hundreds of experts from all over the world come to Magdeburg for brain research.
Un simtiem ekspertu no visas pasaules tur dodās veikt pētījumus.
And they are trying to understand life
Viņi cenšas izprast dzīvi,
by researching the brain.
pētot smadzenes.
And she's flying to Israel
Un viņi lido uz Izraelu,
because in Jerusalem
jo Jeruzalemē
there's a big conference
notiek milzīga konference,
with hundreds of experts from all over the world
kur simtiem ekspertu no visas pasaules
coming to Jerusalem for 3 days
ierodas Jeruzalemē 3 dienas,
to talk about the brain.
lai runātu par smadzenēm.
And she tells me all about, you know, brain research and
Viņi
flight
stāsta par
from
tiem pētījumiem,
Berlin to Tel Aviv is 4 hours.
un lidojums ir 4 stundas
And 3 hours I ask questions, she tells me about brain research.
Un 3 stundas no šī laika mēs vienkārši runājam.
And finally, after 3 hours,
Un pēc tam pēc 3 stundām
she says, well, what do you do?
viņi jautā, nu, ko tu dari?
And I told her, I just wrote a book about life.
Un es saku, es tikai uzrakstīju grāmatu par dzīvi.
I didn't have a book to give her.
Man viņa nebija līdz, ko uzdāvināt.
But I told her that I wrote it. And she said, oh yeah, well, what is the book about?
Nu tā, par ko ir šī grāmata?
And I tell her about the spirit.
Un es saku, par kādu?
And you know, like in maybe half an hour or so before we land in Tel Aviv,
Un tas ir apmēram pusstundu pirms nolaišanās.
I give her a little bit of the information that we spoke about tonight.
Un es viņai iedevu nedaudz no tās informācijas, par ko mēs šogad.
And I talk about what we're saying now. The spirit and the time track
Es runāju par garu, laika līniju,
and the phenomena of life and death and the spirit leaving body going into God.
un tad dzīves un nāves fenomenu, un kā gars iziet no viena ķermeņa un iemaisojas citā.
And as I finish talking,
Un kad es beidzu runāt,
and the pilot saying, we are now landing in Tel Aviv,
un piloti teica, ka mēs tad piezemēsimies.
she says, what does she say?
Viņi saka,
Oh, excuse me?
Amen.
Amen.
Sorry.
And you know, when I finish, she says, oh no.
viņi saka, ak, nē,
And I said, what happened?
kas notika?
And she says, if what you're saying is true,
Ja tas, ko tu saki, ir patiesība,
thousands of people will lose their job.
tūkstošiem cilvēku zaudēs savu darbu,
And billions of dollars are lost.
un miljardiem dolāru ir vienkārši iztērēti velti.
Because around the world, there are tens of thousands of brain researchers
Jo pasaulē ir milzum daudz smadzeņu pētnieku,
trying to understand life
kas cenšas izprast dzīvi,
by looking in the brain.
skatoties smadzenēm.
And if what you're saying is true, we have no work.
Un ja tas, ko tu saki, ir patiesība, mums vairs nebūs darba.
So we have these different views of life,
Mums ir šie dažādie skatījumi uz dzīvi,
and I discuss it here in chapter 3,
ko es arī tā kā apskatu.
and I will end with what I said in the beginning.
Un tagad beigšu ar to, ko es teicu sākumā.
Please do not believe a single word I said.
Lūdzu, neticat nevienam vārdam, ko es saku.
Okay, you can read, you can get the data,
Jūs varat lasīt, jūs varat izprast, apgūt,
and you can do listening,
jūs varat viens otram vadīt klausīšanās procesus,
and you will find out for yourselves.
un varat paši saprast, kāds tā.
Okay?
Saprāt?
And after 3 hours talking and drinking a lot of water, I have to go to the bathroom.
Paldies par uzmanību.
Okay, thank you very much.